Yo, what is up, all my anime heads out there? Shout out to the folks that are hanging out with us on a Friday night. Welcome to Anime Nights, episode number 18. We got a lot to talk about, man. Got a full slate of topics that we are going to discuss. But first and foremost, let me say thank you to everybody that's hanging out with us tonight, man. And tonight will be a Wendy's night, okay? It's a Wendy's night tonight. I got my grub. It should be here in about maybe 25 minutes. And then when it gets there, we're going to turn it over, let these cats run it while I go grab my food, get my situation going, and then we will get back with me on the show. But thank you guys for hanging out tonight. 17 folks, appreciate y'all. 19 now in the chat. Make sure you smash that like button if you have not already done so. That'll get some more folks up in here. And look, man, we'll chop it up, man. Last week, we went 3 hours. And I was absolutely shocked at that. I'm like, why are we still talking? All right. Normally, we were doing like an hour and a half, 2 hours, somewhere in that range. But, you know, the more people participate, you guys, especially if you participate, if you throw out great comments and questions, we react to that. You guys react to us reacting to you. And that's how the show goes, you know? And so maybe we're going to get another 3-hour show. We got some juicy ones tonight, man. All right. We got some absolutely juicy topics. Obviously, we're going to be talking One Piece. You can tell by the cover. All right. All right. You can see that that's what we're going to be discussing, or the thumbnail, I should say. One Piece live action is coming up, and it seems like right before we get season 2 of One Piece, Eiichiro Oda decides to bless the fans with a little bit of a treasure hunt, and cats are saying that they already found it. All right, said we already got it, man, so we are good to go. We got that. And then of course I already did a video. You guys have probably already seen it. Inaki Godoy, we'll discuss that with the panel. What a dude, man. What a guy. This is what you want from your actors and from your talent. Respect for your audience, okay? That guy respects the audience like nobody else. He is an absolute real one, all right, for doing what he's doing for the Japanese audience. So we'll discuss that. We'll also discuss Kadokawa and Aniplex combining forces, all right, to create ANIMEC, all right, which is going to be a movie distribution company for anime. What does that mean for the industry? How's that going to go? And then we got a big time controversy with Manga 1. I'm not sure if you guys have been keeping up with that. We're going to talk about that Manga 1 controversy, man, because whoo, that thing is heating up. It's getting worse and worse by the moment. And so that's the next topic. And then we'll talk other things. All right. We got a lot of topics. All right. We got a whole lot of topics. Let's bring the panel out, though. All right. The panel is who we like to hear from. It's not just the DA running his mouth. We got other cats that do that as well. Shout out to Name. Still working on his potato, man. Bro, we got to get you upgraded, man.
Bro, I upgraded the camera, bro. It's better quality this week.
Yeah, slightly. That's true.
Piece by piece, bro. We got to upgrade it piece by piece.
Yeah, there it is. Piece by piece. Hail Name. Thank you for being here. We also got Angel, the casual reviewer, in the house. What up, Angel? You're muted. If you wanted to say something, you might need to unmute.
I'm good. How is everybody doing? Hope everybody had a good week. Man. Let's get into it.
Yep. We're going to get into it. And then we also got Stacy Gardner in the house. What's up, Stacy? How's it going, bro? Stacy, you there? Are you muted? Oh, there we go.
Yeah, what's up, guys? I was muted.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah. Hey, look, everybody, make sure you're subscribed to Stacy. Make sure you're subscribed to Angel, all right? If you guys can help him out. If you haven't subscribed to him already, make sure you do that. I appreciate that. Cyfax says, hail, DA and Anime Night. Sorry, can't make it out on a date. Why are you talking to us?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, that's crazy.
Over here, man.
Handle the business.
Let us know you're on a date. Okay, no doubt.
Bro,
that's what he's doing. That's flexing.
Bro,
he's flexing, right? Yeah, I got me a date, man. I ain't hanging out with you geeks and nerds.
Bro, mad props to Cyfax. But all I gotta say, bro, I suspiciously don't see Key in the chat tonight. So whoa, what's going on there, boys?
Yeah, crazy, yeah.
Don't get crazy, man. Don't get crazy. Hey, that's all good, Cyfax. Hang out with us next week, man. Next week we're gonna be talking One Piece, man. Live action on Netflix. That's basically going to be where we're at to see how it looks. How did they do? We will also be discussing that on the nightcap because it drops Tuesday. So on Tuesday of next week, that's when One Piece live action comes out. They're having the first two episodes in theaters. I don't know if you guys. I think you're going to see it in theaters. Angel, Stacy, any plans to check that out in theaters?
I got to find a ticket. Is it with AMC or do you
I
know
believe
at all?
there's some showings at AMC. I'm not sure if it's going to be on the A list, but I believe I've seen a few. They said that there were. Let's put it that way. They said that AMC was amongst the chains that would be covering it. So there that is.
I'll look into that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
Like I can tell you, I'm going to be, I got a busy week next week, so I'm going to be at home, but I will watch One Piece the day it drops. And then, we'll have a conversation about that. So there you go. All right, guys, look, we got a lot to go through, man. We got a whole hell of a lot to go through. I just want to start with something I thought this was interesting. Comicbook.com. They posted this up. All right. 2026 has already delivered the top 5 anime of the year. And I'm like, wait, what? Seriously? Y'all think the top 5 anime has already been dropped and we're just in winter? All right. We got 3 more seasons of anime to go. And they think, yeah, we've already seen the top 5 anime. So it says here, though 2026 is only just beginning, it has already delivered multiple anime worthy of being called anime of the year. All right. So maybe that's the case. Maybe one of the anime that we have seen in the first 3 months will be anime of the year. Let's see what their top 5 is. You guys can probably figure out or guess what it's going to be. Fire Force final season. All right. That's one of their choices. Sentenced to Be a Hero. Look, this gets my vote as one of the top anime so far this year. Really enjoying Sentenced to Be a Hero. Very, very much. Oshinoko season 3. All right. I'm not an Oshinoko fan, so I can't call it. Maybe are you guys Oshinoko? Has anybody watched any of it? Nope.
No, I never heard of it.
I've heard of it. It never clicked for me.
Yeah, I saw the first season and I was like, it's okay. I'm not going to return to this, but it's fine. Whatever for what it is. It's about idols and all that. And I'm saying it's not really my thing. Number 2, Free Ren Beyond Journey's End season 2. And then their number 1 choice, you guys probably guessed it, JJK season 3. All right. So I got a question for you guys. Out of these 5, do you think any of these 5 will be in the top 5 at the end of the year? That's number 1. And then number 2, what is your choice for anime of the year thus far? We can start with you, Angel, and go right down the line. Any of these going to be in the top 5 towards year's end, in your opinion?
Sentenced to Be a Hero. That's going to be in the top 5 for sure. For sure.
All right.
I mean, every episode just gets better and better. The storyline is, getting deeper and deeper. So to me, it's something that will be at least in the top 5. But I'm expecting more better anime for the rest of the year.
Deeper and deeper. T would have called a pause on that one.
I know. This is anime, so T ain't here.
That's true, man. This is different. Name. What do you got, man? What's your top anime of the year? And will any of these, JJK, Free Ren, Sentenced to Be a Hero, Oshinoko, Fire Force, would any of these be in the top 5 come year's end?
Bro, all I'm gonna say, y'all playing with my boy. Y'all playing with my boy's name, bro.
Look at him. Here we go.
We're cooking, bro. It's been getting good. I'm not saying it's gonna be anime of the year, but y'all better don't switch up on me when that shit gets good. Don't switch up on me. It's getting good this week.
It was good this week. It was good.
It was really good. But
yeah.
To be real, I think Sentence is really up there. I still need to catch up on this week's episode. But I really like how everything's unraveling. Like they're adding like so many things, but at the same time, it's also working because it's also like I want to find out more about the world. Like this last week, which is the one I just finished, we got like another like origin story for like one of the characters, and I thought that was like really interesting. So I'm really excited to see how like all this plays out. And then like I'm pretty sure like this list is like pretty self-explanatory. Fire Force has been getting like a lot of buzz recently. Same with JJK. I saw Oshinoko get like some buzz this week or last week as well. So, and Freerin, come on, do we even have to say anything about Freerin? Like,
I'm surprised nobody even said. I mean, Freerin seems like an automatic choice, right? Like it's going to be up there in the top 5 for sure. You know, every episode we know is just getting better as well. So yeah, I'm thinking Freerin in, you know, Sentence to Be a Hero, in my opinion, would be, you know, probably in the top 5. Number 1 all year. I don't know. I think honestly, anime of the year, it's kind of hard to say when it's so early. But I think, you know, we got a couple of interesting candidates. Yeah,
you have
to
admit, DA, like you were saying a few months ago, they came out swinging with this winter season. Like pretty much almost everything has been a heavy hitter. And then like, you know, we're forecasting into like the future a bit, but like I'm not really like seeing like many like big names. Like maybe like a lot of like new titles that maybe like dark horses, but like nothing as like, you know, surefire as like what we've been getting like this winter.
Exactly. All right, Stacy, what you got, man?
I'm gonna say the top 2 of these are gonna make it into the top 5, if not the top 10 of the year, and of course that would be Sentence to Be a Hero because of how deep the story is. I know. Pause.
We'll let it slide.
And of course, Freerin. I'm actually going back rewatching this stuff, and I'm like, this is actually how you want to tell a story with Freerin. You want to look back on it through her eyes and then see what it was like. And I'm liking that.
Yeah. I think Freerin's Sentence to Be a Hero, in my opinion, right now, you know, and I'm liking other ones. I've been praising Jack of All Trades. I think that's a really solid anime. I'm enjoying that one a lot. Last episode was kind of fun. It wasn't really that much deep storytelling, but it was really fun. And so I enjoyed that. But I'm looking forward to seeing where all of that universe, you know, starts to unfold and what's going to happen next with Jack of All Trades. I think that's great. Yes, Vigilantes is really good. It's getting good. So yes, Name, you're correct on that one, man. JJK honestly is good. I wouldn't say it's like, maybe it's because I thought season 2 was epic. I think JJK season 3 is fine. I don't hate it. It's you know, on level with maybe season 2, but I feel like season 2 was better so far. Okay, still got to wait for the rest of it to play out, but I'm enjoying JJK. So I was just kind of shocked that, you know, they threw it up there at number 1. I was like, it's fine. Again, I don't hate it. It's really good. But I think the best is yet to come. Name shared this one with us in the chat. So look, we got a big anime coming up. All right. Spring is next month. All right. April will kick off the spring season. And with that, we're going to get a very, very interesting anime that's been hyped up a lot. Demons of the Shadow Realm by Full Metal Alchemist creator Hiromu Arakawa. And we got a new trailer. All right. It drops April 4 with 2 episodes. And it's going to be 24 episodes overall. I said, Name was like, hey, guys, you want us to give it to you early? No, we're going to watch this blind. All right. We'll watch this with everybody. So Name hunted it down. He found it. Let's go ahead and check out the first trailer of Demons of the Shadow Realm. And let's see what it looked like.
お前ら何者だ。そこを抜け。ガブー。了解。化け物、ユーマ、異形、対なる者。こいつらがお前のつがいだ。つがい。この不甲斐ない僕の言葉も涙も。裏のみんなを殺したのはお前らか。夜と昼を分かつ。 双子の一人。お主には力を手に入れる資格がある。俺たちって世を乱す呪い子みたいな存在なのか。私たちはあなたたち絶対許さない。この子が噂の双子っすか。運命の双子に生まれたからってなんで生き方を他人に左右されなきゃいけないんだ。ユル、あなたの名前は私が生まれ育った土地の言葉で夜という意味なのよ。もう一度父様と母様を。
Couldn't find one with subtitles, huh, Name?
Come on, DA. You've been doing your homework. You should be able to live. That should be nothing for you.
Yeah, that's me. But what about the people watching, Name?
What about us? Like, you know, a Bronx native.
Not everybody's learning.
Like
exactly.
Look, I like the animation. I like the style. I think this looks really, really, really good. I'm not sure what the story. Do you know the story? I'm blind when it comes to this. When I watch this, it's going to be completely blind. I'm not sure what this is or how this is going to work. But I like the animation. It looks like they're going to be fighting. I expected maybe more demons, but I saw these little eyeball demons, these yin yang, whatever these are, man. These things look freaky as hell. All right. So any idea about the story of this? Anybody?
I have the synopsis pulled up. Do you want me to read it?
Read the synopsis for his name.
All right. So Demons of the Shadow Realm. In an isolated village, two twins were born, separated by day and night. It is years later, and while the older brother Yuru has become a hunter of animals, his sister Asa has been locked away in a cage, ordered to perform a special duty that prohibits her from meeting more than a few select individuals. On an otherwise inconspicuous day, a group of armed men riding in helicopters referred to as dragons by the citizens assaults the village in search of Yuru, killing every adult on sight. When Yuru attempts to meet with Asa and flee, he finds a dead body instead. On top of that, the person who killed her claims to be Yuru's true twin sister. Before the woman can capture him, Yuru is rescued by a man named Dara, an outsider who frequently visits the village. However, it is not long before the two are cornered. In a last-ditch effort, Dara makes Yuru give a gift to the deity of the village, summoning a pair of demons whose existence is bound to reveal the truth behind these chaotic events.
Wow. Okay. All right. I guess these are the twins right here, man. Look, I like the animation. I like this little synopsis. You know, I'm down for it. I'll give it a shot. You know, I'm down to try it out. It's going to be kicking off the April. We're going to watch some of this, right? Are we getting a little bit of this at the Crunchyroll nights on the 16th? So on March 16th, we're going to watch because Crunchyroll does a sneak peek of the upcoming season. They do that before every season. We got our sneak peek of Sentenced to Be a Hero at Crunchyroll Anime Nights. So we're going to watch that in theaters, and then we'll get an out of the theater review. We'll probably just join all together that Monday night if, you guys are down for that. And we'll talk about what we saw, but we'll get our first look at Demons of the Shadow Realm then. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this, man. This looks like it's going to be really, really good. It sounds good.
Yeah, I don't think you need any more convincing, but remember, this is done by Bones Film, who's doing Vigilantes, the last season of My Hero, and Gachi Akuda. So like the animation, like as far as that's like I got no problem with that. Like we know we're in for a treat.
And again, by Full Metal Alchemist creator Hiromi Arakawa. All right, so this is top tier storytelling, top tier art. The production value is going to be very, 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 very high. What more can you ask for if you are an anime fan? All right, what more do you want? This seems like one of those series that's going to be discussed all season long. So I'm looking forward to it. Demons of the Shadow Realm. We'll talk about that as time gets closer. All right, we just got through talking about Fire Force. Okay, and I don't know if you guys. We shared this in our little chat, man. I thought that this was absolutely hilarious. This person had posted this up on X. Fire Force is peak fiction. Okay. And I'm gonna let you guys just kind of just watch this particular maybe I should set it up like this. Let me set it up this way. All right. This is coming from the doll. It's hilarious how the author got fed up with tourists crying about the fan service nonstop that he decided to implement it further and make it plot important, all while essentially telling them to shut up, that their jealous whining doesn't matter. So look at this, man. This is what I thought this was just absolutely classic, man. So basically the mangaka or the the director the author, he basically says, look, I don't care if you hate fan fiction fan service. All right. I don't care. It's a matter of fact, I'm going to put more fan service and I'm going to make it important to the story overall. So let's go ahead and watch this scene. This is in Fire Force a minute, but you guys get the message, man. Look, don't talk to these guys about what they should or shouldn't be putting in their mangas. Hey, fan service, that's a part of anime. That's a part of manga. Like, what are we doing here? But people will complain, all right? Like the author said, he got tired of the tourists, crying about the fan service. So he said, all right, cool. I'll just build this into the story. So now it's no longer fan service. It's important to the plot, all right? You got to love it, man. That's how you shut these idiots up. But I don't know, man. Do you guys think fan service is just sometimes it goes a little bit too far? I don't have a problem with it. I think I think fan service works out just fine.
No, there was nothing wrong about this. I actually have to give the creator of this story all the props. It's your story. Tell it how you want it to be told. You don't have somebody who basically comes in there and says, I'm basically just getting into it and I don't like this. Okay, you don't like it, go to something else. And the fact that you're getting mad over a trope, which if you stop and think about it, I would not be surprised if Western entertainment had a trope like this before and they just cut it out. No, it's a trope for a reason because it works. And the fact that it goes with her lucky lecture, that just makes it better.
Name, what you got? Yeah, Stacy, I agree with you. Like, you know, they used to have this back in the day. They were called femme fatales, and now, like, you know, that shit's gone. But, you know, I find this clip funny because, like, they were not only dunking on, like, the people who are, like, you know, are, like, you know, shitting on, like, fan service, but towards, like, you know, where you pause it, they were dunking on, like, DEI, like, unintentionally, too. I was like, bro, that shit was, like, funny as hell. But, no, it's, like, you know, like, this is the problem I have with, like, these, like, you know, people coming in and, like, trying to, like, impose, like, their worldviews on, like, anime. Like, usually these are the people who cry like loudest about like colonization, and I'm like, do you not recognize what you're doing? Like, you're trying to like impose your values onto another culture. Like, it's like,
right.
I just think that's interesting that the people who cry loudest about colonialism are the ones who are actively like, you know, trying to oppress like other people's views. And like, this isn't even like the worst like fan service I've seen. Like, you know, we've talked about it a few times on this like channel. But one of the currently airing animes, like Chain Soldier Season 2, that is wilder than this, bro. Like, if they saw that, they would freak out. Like, they're way worse.
I watched
like
a couple of episodes. I see where people are coming.
Bro, yeah,
I haven't
like,
watched Chain Soldier. I just watched like a couple of episodes of Season 2, and I'm busting up like, oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah, it's like, you know, it's like, this isn't even, it's not even that bad. Like, come on, like, you know, it's like, if you stop, like, you know, if you start like, you know, removing or like banning fan service, like, what are you gonna do? Like, you have to apply this like, you know, all across the board. Like, we are not allowed to be walking around in swimsuits anymore? Like, you know, because like that's literally what she's wearing. Like,
absolutely ridiculous, man. Yep. So yeah, I don't have a problem with fan service whatsoever. Angel, you're new to the game, all right? You're a new anime fan. Does the fan service bother you? You know, the jiggle physics. I mean, you know, chicks be jiggling, you know, skimpy bikini. This all of that stuff that they give to the young otakus. Does that any of that bother you when you're watching anime? Angel, you still here with us?
Are you expecting a yes from that?
I'm right here.
Oh, okay. I don't know what happened, man. I was asking you. Does any of the fan service
going slow right now for some reason?
Oh shit, we back on this delay thing. All right, man, we delayed again. All right, Angel, fan service, go.
I mean, I look at this like music. You know what I mean? Most musicians do not like their work to be tampered with or changed in any way when it comes to writing or producing. So why would you tell an artist what to do with their own work? Like, why would you tell anybody how to change something just because you feel like it's offending you in some way? So if it's offending you, you have options to watch other things. There's so many different that you could be able to watch. So why sit there and subjugate yourself to something that you don't want to watch? You know what I mean? So it's just crazy to me when outsiders, like name says, come in and they push their own thoughts and their own world views on things that have nothing to do with this story. This story is pure entertainment. It's not about your world views. So, I mean, that's basically my opinion in regards to the fan service. Like, you just either going to accept it and enjoy it, or you could be able to go on somewhere else and become a fan of something else that you're going to enjoy. It's that simple.
All right, look, the Wendy's has arrived, folks. I said it would be here in about 25 minutes. It has arrived.
The $8 biggie bag.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm about to go pick that up. But while I grab that, look, Name had brought this up, and this is kind of a perfect thing for him to discuss. I thought that this was absolutely like kind of cool, man. Check this out. McKenyu, all right before we get to the One Piece topic, we're going to talk about One Piece. But McKenyu, who plays Roronoa Zoro, it says, how to make McKenyu happy. Answer, get him a pack of One Piece card game cards on the red carpet. This guy gave this dude a pack of cards. Look at his look. Look at the look on his face right here, man. I'm just going to play this real quick, and then I'm going to go grab my Wendy's, and you guys can talk about it. Yeah, so apparently this guy is a One Piece card game like stud, man. He goes out and wins tournaments. Name, I'm gonna let you take it from here. I'm about to grab my Wendy's, guys. I'll be right back.
Yeah, sorry I couldn't get the other one. Like this was like with the Japanese fans, but I think someone else, like I don't know if it was like IGN or something, like one of the American like news people, like they did it to him too, and then like they actually pulled a rare card, which is cool. But I like this about like actors that aren't just like doing the work for a paycheck, like they actually come into the work invested, or because they're involved with the work, they fall in love with like what they're working with. I think like when you have like that kind of love for like a franchise or a series, like what like the work that you produce like is very different from like if you're just mentality just like, oh, I'm just here for the check, or oh, I'm just here as like a stepping stone for like my career. Like he like I didn't send it. Well, I did send it, but I don't want to pull it up right now. But I sent like a few days ago. Like I think instead of doing like one of his press junkets, like this guy was like in one of like in an LA like card shop, like in a TCG store, and he was like he was playing a One Piece card tournament. Like they literally like had no plans to do it that day, and then like they just threw one together just to like let him play, and he took second. So like it was like I think it's just really cool that he's interacting with like the fans this way, but also like it shows like he's not like he's not like faking his love for the work. Like this is something that he genuinely like loves being a part of.
That's what happens when you have somebody who cares about what they're doing.
I mean, the more and more that I see these actors. I'm sorry, Stacey. Go ahead.
Oh, that's what happens when you have someone who cares about what they're doing. Like think about it like this: if I was an actor in like Yu-Gi-Oh! Live action, and I was playing, let's say, Seto Kaiba, someone came up to me and gave me a Blue Eyes White Dragon, I would be just like him. Like, oh my god, thank you. Because I love Yu-Gi-Oh! I love the story of it. And I'm like, thank you, because now this actually makes me want to get more into my character of Seto Kaiba. That's what happens when you have someone who loves the material. And that's what these guys do. It's love the material.
Yeah, for me, I mean, being a casual anime viewer, and just starting to get into it, I like the fact that he's excited about the project. I like how his enthusiasm is in regards to One Piece, and it makes me, as a casual fan, want to watch the show, and it makes me feel like he is invested in the show. You know what I mean? So to me, it's a beautiful thing to see, because you don't see a lot of actors do this type of thing. You see most actors go up there and they just play their role in regards to press junkets. They say the answers that needs to be said, whatever's written on the cards. They smile, they give those particular reporters special interviews, and that's that. This guy is literally interacting with the fans. He's taking their cards. He's, talking to them. He's smiling, laughing. Like I said, you don't see this type of joy on a red carpet from most actors. And like I said, for me, it's a beautiful thing to see. And like I said, it's making me want to really get into One Piece more. Like I just started watching the live action just because I know it's coming out soon. And this is making me so much more invested in it. Like I'm more happy as a character. I already liked him, and I didn't know too much about him when I first started seeing it. But I was like, okay, this guy's pretty cool. But the more you're talking about it, and the more things you're showing me, it's like, wow, okay. And especially the guy playing Luffy, like it's amazing to see the investment that they're putting into this show, and it's making me realize, like, hey, this is probably going to be a real good show just due to that investment they're making.
Yeah, like that's a funny story, Angel, because I remember like I saw like McKenyu talked about how he got the role of Zoro. So apparently, like the first time they came to him with like the audition offer, he turned it down, and then they came to him again, and then he asked them like, okay, what am I auditioning for? And I think this is like really unheard of, because like usually when you're auditioning, like you don't know what you're like doing, because like especially for One Piece, this is a big project. They try to keep it under the wraps. They told him it was Zoro, and he immediately signed on. He's like, get me in the audition room right now. So like this guy, he's about that life. Like, and also going back to your other point, like you're talking about like Western actors and like writers. Like I'm not gonna like, I don't have like any shade to throw at any specific people, but we think about like some of these like MCU, DCU like writers and like actors who when you're interviewed, especially back in like the 2020 period when all those like films were coming out, they're like, oh, what do how'd you like like what do you know about Black Widow? Oh, I've never read Black Widow. Oh, what do you know about Captain America? Oh, I've never read Captain America. Like they're bringing on people who's
that are fans, like, right? They're fans. They love they love what they're making. And if you have people, it's just like Henry Cavill, right? Henry Cavill, that he is locked in and he loves what it is that he's doing. This guy loves what it is that he's making. He's a One Piece fan. He's playing the card games. All right. He's playing the card games. This guy is an absolute fan. All right. And Jeremiah Henry brings up, do you guys know who his father is? Do you guys know who his father is?
It's Sonny Chiba, right?
Sonny Chiba, yeah. I mean, this guy's from legendary stock. Yeah. You don't know who Sonny Chiba is?
Who's that? No, I don't know. I remember, I'm new to this stuff, guys. Come on. Who is Sonny Chiba?
Sonny Chiba is he's a legendary actor.
Okay.
And he was in Kill Bill. He's just one of those, I guess you could. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about now?
Yeah, now I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean,
was he the master in that movie?
Well, he's not. He's in what? He's the whatchamacallit, the sword guy.
Okay, the sword guy. Now I remember.
Yeah,
he was part of the Crazy Eight or something like that. The Crazy Eights or something.
No, he was shit. No, he's not part of the Crazy Eights. What's his fucking name, man?
I got it.
What's his name, dude?
Sonny Chiba played the retired swordsmith, samurai
Hattori Hanzo. Thank you, Hattori Hanzo. Yep. Thank you.
Okay, the one that made the sword for her. And
okay, I couldn't remember his name. Yeah, he's the guy that made the sword for the bride. He's a fucking legend, man. He's an absolute legend. And that's his son. All right. And so this is but I love this. I love his enthusiasm. I love looking at stuff like this. Because look, One Piece is a huge series. And we're about to jump into One Piece live action season 2. But before we do all of that, let's give some special love to my guy, Dragon Master Zero, who drops a $20 super sticker. Dragon Master Zero, always giving it up for the chat and for the channel. Thank you very much, brother. Hey, let's go ahead and do what we always do every single time Dragon Master comes through. We got to lace him up with an emoji. He has his own emoji in the chat. If you are a member, you can bless the chat and thank Dragon Master Zero. All right, he has his own emoji, so guys, thank him. We appreciate him. Thank you very much, sir. All right, before we get on, let's give a little All Might to thank him. We appreciate it. Here you go. All right, let's talk about this. Did you guys see this one right here? Did you guys check this out?
Yeah.
So
I heard somebody found it.
We're going to get to that. Yeah. Eiichiro Oda, he sent his fans on a treasure hunt for the real One Piece. All right. We got an IRL One Piece treasure hunt before Grand Theft Auto 6. This is absolutely incredible shit. This is the kind of engagement from, the creators to the audience or to the fans that I love. All right. I love seeing this type of stuff. So Eiichiro Oda, he comes out, he drops this video. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and play this video. This is on the One Piece official channel. Okay. It says 600 million milestone. What is the One Piece? All right. Let's go ahead and check out the video itself. and then we'll see on the other end what people did about it.
Before you do, DA, the fact that he's doing that not only basically inspires the fans to get involved, those who've basically never looked at One Piece, this makes them interested now.
Yeah. Everybody's like, wait, what is this? This thing is worldwide. People are talking about it everywhere. It's already gotten live action adaptation on Netflix that people love. It's over 1,100 plus episodes in the anime. This thing's been going on for the last 2 decades. What's happening? All right. Yeah, that gets you more interested, right? All right, but yeah, let's go check this out, man. So this is it on YouTube.
What is the One Piece?
That guy sound like Brandon.
That answer has been determined since the very beginning. The secret never written down. Kept in the mind of creator Eiichiro Oda. At long last, it has been inscribed on paper. Until the whole story is revealed. The truth will rest far beyond anyone's reach. At the bottom of the ocean.
That's crazy, yeah. That's crazy.
Dope.
That's crazy.
Dope. That's dope. That's dope.
I know this is off subject.
That is just pure amazement.
I know this is off subject, but this honestly, I'm a big Survivor fan, and this is honestly what Survivor is doing this season. This is like their 50th season, and they're doing a lot of fan interaction. They're doing things where you could go out and find the idols, and you could be able to be on the show, and you could control, you know, what they're doing on the show by voting, things like that. Like, I love this fan interaction. You need that fan interaction, that excitement to build up what you're trying to, you know, convey to the fans. Like, to me, this is amazing. It just gives me that chills, like that Marvel feel when you was really into Marvel, when those phases were first coming out and you were just excited, looking forward to the next thing that's going to happen with this. And that's how I feel about this right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is just awesome, man. He you know, writes it, puts it in a little safe or a little treasure box, and he puts it in this, you know, vacuum sealed thing, and then he drops it to the bottom of the ocean. And everybody's been speculating about it, talking about it, buzzing about it. And now we got some people that say, hey, I think they found it. They said One Piece fans think they found the real life location of the One Piece in under 12 hours, despite Oda burying it 60 million. I think it's 20 million or meters underwater or whatever. It said 20 or 200. I'm sorry. Fans are busy looking for where Oda buried the meaning of One Piece. And look, it's just something written on a piece of paper, but you know there's going to be people down there doing their level best to try to drag that thing off the ocean floor, okay? People are searching for it, and there's some folks that actually believe that they have indeed found it. This was on Pirate Nation. One Piece fans have reportedly found the location of the One Piece after just 13 hours. So this is where they think it's located, okay? This is where they think it is, the possible location of the One Piece. response to the 600 million milestone video that we just watched. All right. And they've been dropping clues. All right. Possible location of the One Piece. So they break it down. All right. This is on their Reddit. They break it down. Let me break this down as much as I can. Clue 1. We'll assume off the coast of Japan in Japanese territory from the ship, the crew, and the fact that this would be illegal to dump in the ocean. I'm guessing Oda has gotten permission from the Japanese Coast Guard and the treasure has tracking so they can find it later. This is substantiated by the red and blue, which are the Japanese Coast Guard colors, and jamstick being mentioned in the description of the official video. All right, so they got that outlined right there. Okay, and then it continues on this page. Clue number 2. No land can be visible from the drop point when looking southwest. I mean, they really broke it down, man. They trying to find this thing, man. The sun would be setting southwest at 4 p.m. We have a high angle shot with no land in the horizon. So if the camera / ship is looking southwest into open water, the coast should be behind us to the northeast. Based on the drone's height, we can probably see 30 to 50 kilometers out. Clue number 3 must be at 600 meters depth, where sediment isn't disturbed often. The drop point under the ocean might be our best clue. The sediment. This is a silty fine sediment, which means it's not being blasted by strong bottom currents. Best guess, Suraga Bay, Shizuoka. So they say that's where it's at. It's close to Tokyo, where Oda lives. It fits all the clues, easy to get to, easy to retrieve, no strong bottom currents, no land can be seen if you're looking southwest for a familiar testing ground for jamstick. Extra note, the map pieces could just be art pieces or they could be clues, and he kind of goes into that or whatever. But if we find the One Piece, I vote we destroy it, just like in Stampede. You guys think they right? You guys think they found it?
I'll say this.
I mean, the video shows a lot of clues.
I'd say this: they got a good area to be looking at. And the weirdest thing is, I don't know if this is true, but apparently Oda based the entire story of One Piece off of a legend of a pirate called Le Buzzard.
Okay.
Apparently, the story goes that the French pirate Le Buzzard basically stole 7 of the world's greatest treasures, and to this day, no one has found them.
Oh wow! Wow. Okay. I mean, that's a great top concept to base a story off of. But yeah, so I just think this is a hell of a way to just like give something to your audience and your fans. All right. You created your own little treasure. You put it in a little treasure box. You sunk it to the bottom of the ocean. And basically you're telling the fans, hey, I put it out there. If you guys want to go find it, go find it. Go look for it. I just think that's pretty dope, man. So hats off to Eiichiro Oda for, doing what fans, doing what creatives rarely do. Engage with their fans in a way that's fun, in a way that's interesting, that it's going to create more buzz for what it is you're doing, and it's going to bring more people in to watch this. It's like, wait a minute, this guy sunk a little treasure at the bottom of an ocean. Well, where is it? Can I find it? Well, do you guys think people will actually go down and try to retrieve it? Do you guys think there will be fans trying to go down if they actually do think they know where it's at? Do you think people are going to go try to retrieve this?
I mean, if you saw a few weeks ago, like Mr. Beast had like a little like One Piece phase, and that man has the money, so he might do it. But I also saw some like memes floating around. Like someone said, like imagine you put in all that work to find like the One Piece, only to realize it's written in Japanese. Or like I saw another one, like imagine like you do all that work and then like what all that's written on the paper is maybe the real One Piece was the friends we made along the way.
It's gonna be friendship, right? Power, friendship. That's the real One Piece, Yeah, I mean, people are already kind of saying that, man. Look at this, man. I like this. Grew Fast said Luffy spent 1,000 plus episodes. The fandom needed a lunch break in a Discord server.
Oh God.
Said One Piece fans don't want no puss ass shortcuts, right? Yeah, Luffy didn't want no shortcuts. All right. I think I showed that clip on one of these once upon a time, where he's yelling at Usopp. Nah, man, it's about the journey. All right. It's about the experience. It's about the journey. and the friends we meet along the way, like Name just said. Now I need them to find the Leaf Village, you know?
That ain't happening.
That ain't happening. Nope. Oh man, yeah, this one right here, right? This was that scene with Usopp. I'll quit being a pirate if Raleigh tells us anything about it right now. That isn't any fun. I'll never go on any adventure. All right. Said Lucy said we got to do this the right way. Says I'll laugh when it's just a picture of his cat. I don't know, man. Who knows what he wrote on that slip of paper? Okay. Who knows what they're gonna do? But look, I think this is dope, man. And I'm gonna be following this story as much as I can to see what will people actually find? Will people actually find something? And if they do, what will it be? Will they actually go down to the bottom of the I mean, 600 meters, I guess that's not too far down, right? It's not like, you know, going that, like, it's not like that submarine that imploded on itself. You're not like going to find the Titanic. You know, you're just going somewhere kind of shallow. You could probably get there with some, you know, decent, you know, equipment. But yeah, I think this is dope, man. I think this is absolutely dope. So Eiichiro Oda sent fans to find the One Piece, and it looks like the fans already know where it's at. That's step one. Where is it? Step two is, are you going to go and get it? And if so, who will go? Maybe it will be Mr. Beast. All right. That's going to be a lot of fun. All right, look, let's move on, guys. Thank you very much for your patience. And of course, we got to talk about One Piece. We got to stay here because One Piece is dropping next week. All right, on Tuesday. They dropped the episode runtimes for season 2. You can see it right here. All of these joints are about an hour long, just like last year or season 1. So any expectations, any hype for season 2? I'm looking forward to it. I really thought season 1 did a really, really good job adapting what a lot of people felt wasn't very a adaptable story for live action. And they did a really good job with 8 episodes. So I'm hoping that this is going to be just as good, if not better, than season 1. But I know there's people that are upset. Vivi, I've talked about Vivi already. I've said my piece on that. But I'm going to trust that because Eiichiro Oda is involved, all right, he's involved with the story and he's right there with him, that it's all going to work out just fine. But thoughts, fellas?
Oh man,
I mean, I'm just getting into this. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Stacey.
Sorry,
I don't have to.
I am interested. Plus the fact that Oda's involved, so I can, if he basically okayed Vivi looking like that, okay, I'm willing to go along with it. So I want to see where this goes.
Okay. All right, Angel, what you got?
I mean, for me, I've seen a little of One Piece. I'm not going to sit here and act like I watch 100 episodes so far. I've seen so far part of the first season. From what I've seen from this first episode that I looked at, they mixed in a lot of episodes into one. So that's what I'm expecting with each episode. They're mixing a lot of stories, a lot of different aspects into different episodes. Like, let's say maybe 5 episodes into one. Am I correct? Is that kind of what they're doing with this One Piece show?
I mean, yeah.
Because it seems like the first episode I've seen, they mixed like 3 or 4 episodes from the first season as regards to the first episode, like 3 or 4 episodes into one episode. So is that kind of
they're not going to go episode. We're not going to get 1,000 episodes of One Piece. You know, they're going to combine episodes, just kind of give you, you know, the overall arc. That's basically how they did it the first time. I expect the exact same thing this time. You know, they're going to have, you know, they're going to tell the story. When you're adapting something for, you know, television from an animation, or, you know, if you're adapting something for a movie, you gotta make sure you're telling the story in the medium that you're telling it in. Telling something on an anime with, you know, animated characters, it's different than live action. And so I trust that the people that did this the first time are going to do a good job the second time. But yeah, they're going to combine the story points together. They'll hit the main points. That's the main thing. All right. They'll hit the main points while, you know, shortcutting some of the stuff that maybe wasn't as important, you know, from the original, you know. So
I still think they took a little bit of liberty in the first season, because if I'm right, we don't see Garp in the anime until like what? Right after Alabasta.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they just threw him in there. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, name what you got?
You know, I haven't seen this yet. I've really like held off on like watching the anime, which is like really long pause, and also like the live action because you know like everyone's been talking about like Netflix doesn't have like really good track record, and then I heard like they had great success with season 1, and then like okay maybe I'll check it out, and then like I heard about the VV stuff, and like it's good to hear that Oda's involved, but like it's still like it's not like a purely like Japanese production. Like it's like a global or like Western production. Like they're probably like they kind of like meet somewhere in the middle, like shake hands. So like, and I don't know. It's like I saw like with Night of the Seven, like a little bit off topic, but I saw with like Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I heard they're doing some like wacky stuff in like season 2 with the casting. So it's like it's always like really hard to like get invested in like these shows because like it's all good, and then like they get the success they want, they get like the viewership, and then like they're like okay we've hooked them in, now we can start putting in all the crazy stuff. Because Oda's involved, I don't think it's gonna be that way, but it's like it's like you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. So like they changed like VV, and like there's another minor thing they changed in like season 1, which was like the Sanji, like what like when he was leaving the Baratie, I think, and like they changed like how that was gonna be because of like originally when it was made in Japan, like they did it with like like Japanese mannerisms in mind, but they thought it would be unnatural for like to do that in the live action, so like they changed it. So like just like little stuff like that is like so far it's only little stuff, but little stuff adds up, and it can also like lead to big stuff. So I'm still gonna go like if my friend's gonna go watch it, I'll go like go with them because like I love seeing things in the theaters. I love getting like that theatrical like experience and seeing the fans all gather. But I'm also like a little wary because of like how many times we've been burned by like all these like Western companies, especially Netflix.
That's the problem because we have been burned, especially with Netflix in the past on season 2s. So we got to cross our fingers with this one and just hope that it's done well. Again, with Eiichiro Oda involved in the first season, it worked out great. I thought season 1, you can't ask for a better adaptation of an anime than what we got with One Piece live action season 1. Season 2, it's pretty much gonna adapt the Alabasta arc. We'll get Chopper. I thought Chopper looks good. Tony Chopper looks good. The big problem is Vivi. Okay, let me see if I can find like because that's what everybody's upset about. All right, everybody's upset about Vivi, and that's where everybody's gonna say, okay, why did you cast her as Vivi? Why didn't you cast somebody that? And we got to see how it plays out. I agree that if Eiichiro Oda's involved, I will give it the benefit of the doubt. But I will also say that if it doesn't work, I will call that out. I'm like, nah, man, this was too far afield. The look, like, look, there's been different pictures. Like this one doesn't. Let me bring this up. This picture, it doesn't look as bad as it looks in some of the other pictures when you see this particular actress. That's the Vivi actress. It's like, okay, you put some blue hair on her. She's supposed to be, she's Indian. All right. The actress herself is Indian. So it's like, I guess, that's fine. We'll allow it. I'll allow it, I guess, but it still feels like a race swap. But again, Oda, he said, yeah, this particular actress is my choice. My choice. So if the creator says this is his choice, can we go against him? Go ahead, Stacey.
No.
I would say unless the creator has an off day, we really shouldn't go against him. Although this, I'm willing to give it a shot. I am really willing to give this a shot because, like you said, DA, just put a little bit of blue in the hair, and for all we know, it may even work better than what everybody's thinking. Now, one thing I gotta say is, Supreme Legend, love you, bro. No one's in Zendaya.
Supreme Legend said they should have went with Zendaya. No, hell no.
Always.
No. Stop it. Get some help. But yeah, okay.
On the point that Stacey made, Oh, sorry. I just wanted to like, Stacy said like, unless it's like an off day for like these authors, like, we've seen cases of this before. Like, we DA's talked about J.K. Rowling on this channel, and like, she's like, all for the she's like really against the trans stuff, but like when it came to like the Cursed Child, like, casting a Black Hermione, she's like, oh yeah, go for it. It's like, and that, and you asked for it, it's like you gotta think like, hold on, like all these years you like, you wrote Hermione as a white girl, you cast like a white girl in the original adaptation, now suddenly like, you're like switching up, and like you have the author's backing, so like it's like really a weird case because like, like you have like, this authorial intent, which like you should always try to respect, but like you sometimes like these authors like, and Alfred Perro put a good comment in the chat. He said like, like Japanese people, like, they're very like non-confrontational, and like, I'm not saying that's what happened on the One Piece set, but like also like, he could have been, they probably like gave him a list of people to look at, and then he probably had to pick like the best one from that list. So like, probably unless like he himself was like, going through like every option, like they probably gave him like a really like filtered list. So I don't know what's going on. There's just like, speculation, but like, yeah, we just gotta hope it's like, this is like the worst of it, and like nothing else is like bad.
Yeah. Yeah, like again, and I even said this, if the show is good, I said this with the House of the Dragon, right? Because House of the Dragon, they got race swap. They race swapped an entire bloodline. Okay. they race swapped an entire bloodline in House of the Dragon. And somehow it all worked out. Why? Because the show is legitimately good. If the show is good, people will overlook a lot of this type of stuff. It's not going to be a big problem. But they'll overlook it if it's good. If it's trash, this will be the first thing they point to. Folks will be like, nope, they race swapped Vivi. This is trash. I'm out. I'm out. But if it's good, if it's really good, you can win over audiences with this stuff as long as you got some quality with it. Speaking of winning over audiences, man, look, I already did a video about this. I just wanted to get you guys' opinion. I know you guys saw the video more than likely. Staying with One Piece, McKenyu said Inaki has been. Let me start over. Okay. This is at I think this is at the One Piece live action Japan press tour. Okay. And so what we have the entire cast of One Piece on stage, and we have Inaki Godoy, who essentially is, what is he? Spanish? I think he's Mexican. He speaks Spanish. That's his first language. English is his second language. But that wasn't enough, because now that he's playing Monkey D. Luffy, he says, you know what? I want to speak the people's language, all right? I want to speak in Japanese. This is what he did out here, and I just want to hear what you guys think about this type of effort to engage with the audience. Listen to this.
Okay. 皆さんこんばんは。こんばんは。シーズン2はもうすぐ出る。そのことはとても楽しみ。でも、それより今日皆さんといることはもっともっともっと楽しみ。とっても嬉しい。本当にありがとう。あなたたちのワンピースの家族に迎えてくれてありがとう。ありがとう。
That's perfect. We didn't need any interpreter.
まだちょっと日本語まだ覚っている。でもぜひわからないことがまだたくさんあります。
Okay. 原田さんから一言ぜひ。
野球はシーズン1の時から頑張ってこうやってみんなとお話ができるように日本語を勉強してくれました。
ありがとう。もちろんワンピースが日本で作られたから、僕が日本人ワンピースのファンと日本語で話せるようになりたかった。だからこの経験はとても特別。ありがとう。
That's a real one right there, y'all.
That could be you, DA. That could be you.
one day, maybe I'll get it like that. That's a real one. That is an absolute. Yeah, Luffy's Brazilian. This actor is, I believe, from Mexico. He's a Mexican actor. This is a real one right here, man. He is absolutely a real one. To be able to jump in and, hey, man, you know what? I'm about to play this very, very important character to a lot of Japanese anime fans out there. You know what I'm going to do? I'm not just going to, collect a check and speaking English, Spanish, whatever my native language is. No, I'm going to learn Japanese. I'm going to learn how to speak to One Piece fans, like he says here. All right, because One Piece was created in Japan, I wanted to talk to the Japanese fans in Japanese. That's why this experience is very special, man. I mean, this is awesome, man. This is awesome. This is what you want to see out of your movie stars, out of your actors, out of everybody that's associated with a major property. Like if you're in a big property like One Piece, come on, man. You didn't build this, you didn't create this on your own. This is something you're stepping into. You're stepping into a larger world. And what you should be doing is embracing the audience in any conceivable way possible. This man went above and beyond the Call of Duty because he didn't have to learn a new language. Okay. He could have sat up there with the interpreter. Like, I think this is the actress over here. This is the actress that plays 9. All right. She didn't learn a new language. She just like, hey man, where's the interpreter at? I need to talk to these folks. This man learns an entirely new language because he says, I want them to be able to talk to Luffy. All right. The fan should be able to talk to Luffy. This is fucking great, man. So I want to hear your thoughts on this. What do you guys think? Anybody can jump in. You don't have to wait your turn.
Well, I think this is amazing. For me to see somebody, it's like I said, it's amazing and it's exciting as a casual fan to see somebody like this invested. Like I said, it's just a good feeling, dude. Like you don't really see actors invested. You don't see anybody invested to want to please the fans like this anymore. And that's something that we need. And to answer everybody's question in the chat, they're saying that he's Brazilian. No, he's not. He was born in Mexico City. He's Mexican. So
the actor is Luffy, the character.
Yeah, that's
Luffy,
what I'm saying. The Brazilian.
Yeah.
He's Brazilian?
Yeah, no, Luffy's Brazilian. When I had said Mexico, I meant the actor. I might have misspoke, so my bad if I did that. Yeah.
Yeah. But I just like seeing this, and I just wish other actors would invest themselves to be able to please some fans. Like the more that you do this, the more fans you're going to bring in because they like seeing these gestures. And especially if it's coming from a country with the nationality is prideful about their country. You know what I mean? They like to see this. They like to see other actors or anybody interacting with them in their language, in their culture. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful sight to see. It's good and it's heartfelt. Like, I don't know. It just makes me feel all, pause, gushy and warm inside. So
we see in the softer side of Angel, Inaki the Godoy just brought it out. All right. Name. What are your thoughts on it? Yeah, I know.
Like it's I agree with like all the points you guys have been making so far. Like first of all, we grew up like speaking English. Like for some of us it was our first language. It was my second, but I fell into it like super easy, and I have to use it more. So like now it's my dominant language. But learning English is super super hard for like other people if you're just starting, especially if like you've spoken a whole language your whole life and now you got to learn English. Like all like the rules that come with that, because like each language has its own like set of rules. It's very difficult, and he's adding Japanese on top of that. And yeah, you and I, we're on the grind. We know we know how difficult like learning Japanese is. And like I was listening to like McKenyu speak, and then like this is no diss to Inaki because like I was there once, but like just like the way they speak is like super different. Like you can tell like McKenyu's a native speaker and like Inaki's like learning, but
yeah,
that's like the most important thing. He took the time out to learn. He's putting in the effort. Like it's not like we don't expect him to be like the greatest Japanese speaker in the world, but like you can hear like there's like thought put into his words. So like there's love, and just the fact that he took out time to like learn it is like it means like the world, because like in this age where you can like you get like they talked about there, you can have an interpreter, you can like even like the AI is like getting advanced. So at some point, like you can just like have conversations like between languages with the AI, but like people like you can connect with people on a deeper level if you take the time to like speak to them in their language. Like just like the amount of times like I've like I AX like you see those like Japanese people and like working the booths come down, like I try to like engage with them in their language and they're like, oh, that, it's like, and then like the conversation like switches up. Like I remember you talked about your experience, the like, you know, those ladies that were like, you know, talking about like, oh, you want to come work in Japan? And like, you know, they're like, oh no, you're a little too old, but you mentioned like a son, and they're like, oh yeah. It's kind of like that feeling. It's like, you know, when you're speaking English to them, like it's like, you know, they can't engage it, but like Japanese is like, you know, even if they like, you know, if it's broken, which like, you know, I'm still struggling with a bit. Like they see that you try, and they like they'll match your energy.
They'll help you. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, I think it's great, man. Like, again, like you said, man, engaging with somebody in their own language, especially when you're stepping into their property, you know, their fandom. It started in Japan. It's theirs. And you're saying, you know what? I'm not just going to do the easy shit. I'm going to do the difficult shit. I'm going to learn the language. All right. That's respect. All right. That is called respect, people. And if actors displayed, Hollywood actors I'm talking about, if they displayed like 1/10 of the respect that Inaki Godoy pays to the franchise and to the fans, we would probably be in a much better place, you know, a much better place. Like just a tiny percentage of the respect that he just pays to the fans. It's just incredible, man.
When you're getting your Wendy's, we were like actually discussing this. Like, you know, you have like Inaki and McKenna on one side, and then you have like the Western side. You know, like we were talking about like in 2020, 2021, when all like those like MCU shows were coming up, Black Widow, Falcon, Winter Soldier, like WandaVision, you know, these like actors and writers are getting interviewed. Oh, like, you know, what do you know about Marvel? It's like, oh, what? I don't even read Marvel comics. You know, it's like I just took this job because it can help my career.
Yeah.
It's like, so why are you working in it? Like, or like, what was her name? I forgot her name, but like the writer or like the producer of WandaVision didn't even know who Mephisto was. It's like you don't even know like just basic things about like the lore. It's like, and then like, you know, you're talking about like this guy went above and beyond. He didn't have to do it. He could have just, you know, they have interpreters for like a reason, but because he took the time, like, and it's really hard. Like he's in front of this huge crowd, you know, like, you know, you're afraid like your Japanese gonna get judged, and like see that like them accept him like for it. It's like really cool to see.
You know how hard it is? Like Japanese is a very difficult language to learn too, man. That is like one of the world's hardest languages from my understanding. It's one of the hardest languages to learn. And he learns it, and he's speaking to the people. And this is like 4 years. He's only been on the job like 4 years, because I think he got cast as Luffy back in 2022. So he's been working on this for 4 years, and he wants to speak to the audience. This is fucking great. Stacy, give me your thoughts on it, bro.
First off, that is pure respect for the source material, for the creator. This man has nothing but my respect for that. Second, he literally proves one adage I've always said. If you want this stuff adapted to live action or anything else, you have to either have the creator or someone who knows and loves the source material. And he proves it.
Yep. Exactly. This is what we want.
You're gonna get a lot more roles just because of that.
When you're taking over a franchise, you want everybody to, because you love the franchise, especially if it's something you love and you've been following since you was a little kid. If a studio takes over a franchise and says, all right, we're gonna adapt, we're gonna make movies, we're gonna make TV shows, it's like, okay, do you love it like I love it? That's the first question most of us got. Do you love this franchise? Do you care about us as the fans that have been building this franchise up? This franchise isn't a $1 billion hit because of you, or it's because of the fans. The fans are what make these franchises what they are, because we pour our time, our money, our attention into this franchise, and that's why it's great. Do you love the franchise? That's the question I always have. And if you don't love the franchise, look, there's the door, man. And it's never going to work. If you don't love the franchise, it's not going to work. And we've seen a lot of franchises. Oh, man, everybody's excited at first, but then the hype dies down. Everybody's like, man, these guys on some bullshit. I'm gone. Okay. That's what ends up happening, because they don't have the respect that they need. Go ahead.
Bro, imagine if James Gunn was like the producer of One Piece. Zoro wouldn't get green hair until the end of the season, bro.
Yeah, that's true, man. That's true. He's like, why we got all of this green in this? Nah, man, nah. Zoro just got normal hair. Zoro got normal hair, and we'll dye that green in at a later date. Bro, that's too funny, man. Yeah, you're right about that, man.
But you can always tell the difference.
I just want to say like one.
What you got, Stacy? Hold up. What Stacy got?
This is an example, like the live action One Piece. This is an example of how you actually want to adapt things properly. This was basically pure fan made. And you know what happened? These two guys who play Ryu and Ken, they were both nothing. They were actually like me, people who went to arcades. They put their quarters in the machine, and they actually started a fan movie of this. And Capcom said, "Hey, we want to talk to you." Capcom greenlit and gave them a blank check. Capcom made so much bank off that.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, man. That's fire, bro. Name, were you saying something? No,
Angel was saying something first. So
no, I mean, I was just gonna say that. Yeah, I just was gonna say, like, you could really tell the difference in regards to the actors in this show compared to any Hollywood cast. Like, they're treating it as love, and Hollywood is treating it as just another day. It's a job. You know what I mean? We're here to do a 9 to 5 and go home. That's it. We don't need to put an extra effort in it because we're just here. This is normal. This is what we do all the time. So,
yeah,
why put effort?
Yeah, this is part of
everybody else handle it for us because this is what we were trained to do. We're too stupid to want to learn anything. Hollywood, man.
Yeah, this is why I have a lot of confidence in it, man. This is exactly why I got more confidence in this than I normally would have in an anime adaptation, you know, because of the actors, you know, they're locked in. Okay. You know, McKenyu is a damn One Piece card player. I mean, he plays the One Piece card game, man. This is wild. Okay. And then, you know, we got Inaki the Godoy learning Japanese so that he can relate to the audience, so that he can relate to the fans, and he can speak to the fans in their own language. This is how it should be done. This is exactly how it should be done. Hollywood needs to take a lesson from all of these guys. All right. They need to take a lesson from these guys. This is how you do it. You don't get out here and, oh, you didn't like the fact that we race swapped somebody or we got a girl boss? Well, fuck you. We don't want you to watch it anyway. And, you know, but, you know, they do want you to watch it because they need the ratings, right? That's basically how it goes. These guys ain't doing that. These guys are like, we love One Piece. Yeah. We are One Piece fans. We respect the fans themselves. And this is how you do it, man. This is how you do it. Name, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I just wanted to, like, you know, say, like, I didn't want to, you know, trample over everyone, so my bad. But Angel, like, pretty much said, like, some of the things I want to say, and I just want to, like, tack on, like, one more little thing about it. Like, it just shows you, like, the philosophy and, like, you know, on, like, you know, like, how they view franchises in there versus us. Like, when they do, like, you know, anime adaptations, they always try to, like, make it as, like, you know, one-to-one to, like, the manga. Like, they don't, like, you know, there's some things they have to change for, like, pacing, but, like, they always try to honor the original source material. Like, when you think about here, we almost never get, like, direct, like, one-to-one adaptations of certain stories. Like, there's always going to be, like, oh, we took elements from this, we took elements from that, but we just want to make our own story. Like, there's always that, like, you know, that ego of, like, oh, I have to put my name on it. But, like, over there, they're like, you know, it's like we got to honor, like, the original work. We just want to, you know, we're stepping into this world, you know. So it's just fascinating to see, like, these two, like, and we were literally seeing it because, like, you know, we talked about lanterns the other day. So, like, it's interesting that, you know, this week we've seen, like, two opposite ends of, like, the spectrum of, like, you know, creator and, like, fan engagement.
Yeah, no, we're going to talk about, like, how anime seems to understand what the fans want in a minute. They seem to get it better than a lot of other these cats in Hollywood. But look, let me go ahead and move on, man. We got more. We got some super chats to get through. We already did Dragon Master Zero. Shout out to Anahuac Beatbox for $5. What do you hope to see in Clayface movie? I would say I just expect body horror. I just expect a good body horror movie. I don't expect Batman to show up at all. I don't think they're going to have Batman in it. If they did, that would be amazing, but they're not going to have Batman in it. It'll be in Gotham. It'll be a body horror film. That's kind of it. I don't know what to expect, but I expect that. I know Mike Flanagan was the original writer-director, and then he stepped away as the director, so now he's just the writer. And Mike Flanagan has done a really, really good job with horror, so I think it'll be all right. It's not really the show for it, Anahuac Beatbox, because we talk anime here. But thank you for it coming through. Answered your question there for Clayface. You guys got any thoughts or hopes for Clayface?
I heard that it was supposed to be a lot of practical effects, not a lot of CGI. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they're going to portray Clayface practically. If that is the case. So that's one thing that I'm, looking forward to seeing. If they could do that right, then I would give that movie a big one in regards to it. The storyline in regards to it comes second to me compared to what he will look like, because that's really what's going to excite the fans more than anything.
Okay.
I have to agree with Angel on that.
Good. Yeah,
I think what they'll probably do is like practical effects. So the credit Angel. We, like you said, we won't see Batman, but I think they're gonna try and mention him in one way or another.
They got to throw a Batman in there. You need a shout out from Batman.
Yeah.
Just like, DA's giving a shout out to Wendy's.
Yeah, like
Wendy's, the place that you need to go for the biggie bags, the top 8s, the chicken nuggets. If you need somebody to sponsor, you got DA right there. He can handle that.
Look, man.
The check's gonna come in the mail soon.
Week,
DA, don't worry about it.
Once a week. This is my cheat day. It's my comfort food. I love Wendy's. I love the Frosty. Look, I got my Frosty here. It's starting to melt. So I'm gonna have to eat this bad boy up in a minute because it's starting to melt. Oh, it's getting real. So, I gotta eat that. Okay.
Now, if I was out there, I would have been taking advantage of Jack in the Box right now. It's their 75th anniversary. I would have been on it, son.
Thank you very much, Anahuac B-Box, for the super chat. We also got Jeremiah Hembry. What's up, brother? Thank you for hanging out tonight. Appreciate you. For 10. Oda already stated in an SBS where these people would be in real life, and the arc that person comes from is based upon Egypt. Any white people in Egypt? Well, yeah, see, that's the thing. That's why I said Oda has signed off on this. Now, if I'm not mistaken, he's saying that Vivi, who is Miss Wednesday, is from not from Egypt. Was it Egypt? Because the actress is Indian. I thought it was Southeast Asia. I thought that's where he said it came from. Did he say Egypt? I don't recall that.
I think Egypt would make more sense since if you watch the anime, Alabasta is basically known as the Desert Kingdom. So I think Egypt would make more sense than South India. South,
yeah. But I believe the actress is from India. She's an Indian actress, so that's basically what it is. I don't know. Again, I got to go back and research that because but Oda did speak on it, and he did say that the Vivi or that Miss Wednesday and Alabasta is like supposedly like, I thought it was Southeast Asia. I thought it was like like India, like in that area, Pakistan, like in that region. So I got to go back and research it. I'm not sure, but.
Damn,
she's definitely not white.
I'm looking right now. DA.
Not white. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm saying I was looking at some of these characters. They're saying I was looking at like some of the places where these characters supposedly may be from. They're saying Luffy is Brazil. They're saying Zoro Japan, Nami Sweden, Usopp is from Africa, Saji is from France.
Yeah,
Tony Chopper's from Canada, Nico Robinson's from Russia, Frankie's from the U.S., and Brooke is from Australia. Well, Austria, sorry, not Australia.
Yeah, Tony Chopper being from Canada don't even matter. He's a fucking reindeer.
That is a lovable reindeer, though. That is a lovable reindeer.
The comment got lost, but I saw like a while back when we were discussing something else. They said like, your fake 915 said the showrunners confirmed that the production chooses the cast and Oda just gives them notes. So like, he kind of has say, but like he only gets like a really like whatever like they give him. Like he doesn't like.
So he gets a limited say. So you're saying he gets he's not the casting director.
Well,
in other words. He's not the casting director, but
he has to choose.
But remember this, and this is important. Oda said, I'm not letting y'all do this unless I'd have like right of refusal. Like if you guys want to cast this person, I can say no, I don't like that person. He can say no. He could have said no to Vivi. All right, the actress that's playing Vivi, he could have said no to her. All right, this chick right here. Let me share this again. All right, he could have said, "Nah, we're not doing this." Whoop, sorry, hold up. We're not doing this. All right, we're not doing this. This don't work. He could have said no. He said, "Yeah, that works." So Oda said this. So you got to contend with that piece of it. Now, maybe Oda's just going to say whatever he needs to say just to keep the production going so season 2 don't get held up because of one casting choice. That's a possibility. You know, again, because he signed off on it, I'm willing to give it a shot. That's how I feel about it. I'm willing to say, all right, I trust that Oda is, you know, respecting his own work, and he's not going to let this become a bastardization of his work. I'm willing to rock with it and see where it goes. That's how I am with it, you know. So we'll have to see. I mean, a lot of people are already like, nope, I'm out. All right. They race swapped Vivi. I'm out. Okay. A lot of people are saying that. I mean, you're allowed to have that opinion, by the way. Let me say this piece, Nate. Let me say this piece, Nate. I don't hate people for saying that, oh, I got to just agree with everything. No, you are allowed to say, I ain't fucking with this. You are allowed to say that. I say, I'm just going to go ahead and watch it because Eiichiro Oda signed off on it. If Eiichiro Oda was in protest over this and he was like, no, this is the wrong person for Vivi, then I wouldn't watch it. But if he signs off on it, then I'm like, okay, let's see what it is. The original first season of One Piece live action was great. I liked it. I thought it was a good adaptation. So I'm willing to rock with it. Let's see what happens. Go ahead, Nate. What you got to say?
I mean, like, alternatively, this could also be like the biggest like 3D like chess big brain move I've ever seen. Like he signs off on this casting, and like, you know, if people don't like it, they're just gonna go read the manga or watch the anime and drives up those numbers instead. So
yep.
If this man's playing 3D chess, bro, he's playing 4D chess. Like,
it's a Warner Brothers move.
I agree.
I agree. Not wrong.
Thank you very much, Jeremiah Hembry. Love this $10. This was perfectly spent. You got a lot of money out of your 10. All right, because we talked about this plenty. Appreciate it, bro. Thank you very much. And then we got last one. We got Nestor Panios for $2. Hey, DA, you gonna review the live action One Piece weekly? I thought it was dropping all at once. Is it dropping weekly? Is it dropping weekly or is it dropping all at once?
I think it's probably just going to drop the first 2 episodes, like in theaters, like they said. Then they're going to do it weekly. I don't know.
Let me check that out. Hold up. I thought it was dropping all at once, but I mean, let me see.
Bro, they gotta like start dropping stuff weekly. I know like Netflix is like known for like streaming and like, you know, everything released at once, but like, bro, like, you know, just like think about all like the good shows that we've been seeing like recently, like all of it's like, you know, weekly, so you have something to talk about. Like, you know, in the private chat, like, you know, Angel is fiending over like, you know, not getting in the next episode of Freebrand because they left him on a cliffhanger. And that's a good thing because like, you know, you have something to think about for like the whole week. You have something to like, you know, talk about with other people. Like, you know, like we think about so, like
here we go. Like, I asked Google, is One Piece season 2 dropping weekly? Netflix's One Piece is dropping all at once on March 10, rather than releasing weekly. The entire second season Into the Grand Line will be available on the premiere date, designed for a binge format release. So there you go.
See,
I think it's smart. Yeah. I think it's smart to drop it week to week to week. I think I think Netflix is doing a disservice by just dropping it all at once and just, you know, letting the people talk about it. And look, people will be talking about this for a month. All right, at least a month, because it's that good and it's going to get its legs. But I think that Netflix would be better served if they drop this week to week to week to week and let people talk about this for 2 months. And then they'll talk about it for the month after that, because people will catch up with it and talk about it then. And dropping it all at once, we're going to talk about that. Okay, we got a topic to discuss that when it comes to MAPPA. Okay. All right. because Netflix and MAPPA.
Look, I'm gonna say one thing. Like,
go ahead,
I'm gonna say one thing. Like, sorry to cut you off, Dave, but you know, we're talking about other things in Hollywood. I'm kind of glad now. I'm seeing the light. I'm kind of glad that Paramount, you know, it's the lesser of two evils because, like, you know, these guys, they had like one of the biggest, like, you know, IPs, the One Piece live action, like, you know, one of their like rare live action successes. They saw the success of that. Oh yeah, let's just drop the season 2 like all at once again. Like, you know, I don't want to like imagine what like, you know, WB controlled Netflix would have looked like, what all the decisions they would have been making. Because if they're making like doing these decisions with like their own product, it's like, you know, what are you doing? Like,
I agree. I agree with Crunch Punch as well, man. Netflix is dumb. All right.
I mean,
I would let this thing just leg out, man. Hey, man, just every week we got a new episode to come back to and watch, and that builds the hype. I don't understand why they're doing this. All right, especially as
but I don't know why they changed this format.
The first season of One Piece was so good, and so many people are looking forward to it. I don't understand why you would do this for the second season. Go ahead, Angel.
I agree with Angel because he just said it.
Yeah.
It's stupid to do that because I'll give you an example. When Rising of the Shield Hero first came out, I was really invested, and then it hit episode 20. Little bit of spoiler alert in case nobody hasn't seen it yet for some reason. Now for me and the other 3 heroes, they just fought the Pope by basically putting himself on the razor's edge of life and death. Now for me looks up, sees the Queen, and the Queen goes, "Yes, I am the Queen of Melremark, Shield Hero." Now you're sitting there wondering what's going to happen next week. Is he about to get punished, or is there about to be some kind of like you're just wondering what's about to happen to him? And then next week you see like the big payoff of everything he went through, and you're just like, that made that week perfect.
Yep. I think they need to really reconsider the release. Like, some things are good to binge watch. I'm not saying binge watching is a bad thing. I'll binge watch a lot of stuff. But I think the binge watch model is, we're going to talk about this because we're going to get to MAPPA and Netflix and their agreement, and people are already sending up the alarm bells. Hey, maybe this isn't the right move, you know, for anime, you know, because anime does really, really well with week to week drops. And so we'll see about that. But look, all the super chatters, Anahuac Beatbox, Jeremiah Henry, Nestor Panios. Hey, man, we respect you guys. We respect the super chats. We try to, you know, talk about it. We try to drop more information, talk about it. Hey, thank you guys for doing what you do. Thanks for supporting the channel. Let's give them a little bit of All Might super chat love. Here you go. Okay. Aniplex and Kadokawa. Big time anime studios. They have decided to combine forces to create ANIMEC, which is essentially a movie distribution studio that, in my opinion, might change the game forever when it comes to anime. Here's what's on AniTV. Aniplex. I'm sorry, guys. It's Wendy's.
Thanks to our sponsor, Wendy's. With
I got shit dripping down my mouth, man. I'm like, God damn it,
Angel. All right, Angel, they got a split.
Yeah, it's like class popcorn reading. Let's go.
Let Angel, go ahead. Name read something before. Angel, go ahead and read while I finish off this chicken sandwich.
Well, we have here, Aniplex will deliver more appealing anime films experience to as many fans as possible by maximizing the value and appeal of works through optimal release strategies for nationwide theatrical releases to special screenings of TV animes. So this looks very interesting. I mean, is this going to kind of be like they're going to be able to make more live actions as well, or just strictly anime movies? That's my question in regards to this. Because if you're talking about movies, are they going to dab into live action as well, or they're going to strictly keep it anime?
Oh, it'll be anime. Yeah,
Anybody
these are
know
anime
that question?
movies.
Anybody know?
Yeah, I think these are just
It's gonna be
anime
strictly
movies,
anime?
all right?
Okay.
Yeah, I believe
But this
so.
sounds like a good
I
deal.
believe so.
Yeah.
I think it will be a good idea because this actually does help. What I would consider it would actually help create a more direct to market flow for them. This could basically create like a direct line, which I think would probably be a good idea.
Name, what is your thoughts, bro?
But what type of? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead, Angel.
I just had a question. I was going to ask, what type of titles do these companies own? Are they like big major brand titles that we know of? Or
I think Aniplex, they
Here,
I just want to understand the scope of this deal. So, like, you know, for somebody, me, you know, just being a casual fan, this, you know,
well, off the top of my head, Aniplex.
I'll look it up. I'll look some of them up.
Yeah, thank you, Stacy. I'll list off some, and then we got the teamwork going. All right. So I know Aniplex. Like, I think they're a producer on Demon Slayer. That's a big one. They have like a few other titles. I think they do Fate as well. I'm not sure. Someone's got to check me on that. But every time I pull up through the group, there's like always some Fate stuff. So I think that's a big one. I know they do Kaguya-sama Love is War, like really big rom-com. They do They did Licorice Recoil. What else? I think they produced what is it called? Rascal Doesn't Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai, which is like another like romance, like, you know, slice of life series. So like they got their hands in a lot of stuff, and like Kadokawa, we talked about a few weeks ago. Like they have their hands on a lot of manga too. So
all right,
what you got first, Stacey?
Some of the animes that right now Aniplex of America has under their belt. They have the Fake Strange series. So right now they got Fake Strange Fake. They got the Rascal series. Like right now they got Rascal Does Not Dream of Santa Claus. Windbreaker, Skate the Infinity, Rurouni Kenshin, Blue Exorcist. They got plenty of them. They also got Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer would definitely be up there.
All right.
Yeah, there you go.
Let me share this.
Yeah.
All right. So here's some of Aniplex's work. Black Butler, Blue Exorcist. Yeah, some of these I've never heard of. Classroom Crisis, I've heard of that.
No.
Demon Slayer, obviously. Okay. I got a lot of Demon Slayer, obviously. Let's see. Erased. All the Fate series, all right. Fate Extra, Fate Grand Order, Fate Carnival, Fate Strange Fake, which is also a current. All right. Fate Zero, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
There's that many Fates?
There's
they
like
got a lot.
5.
Yeah, they got a lot.
I didn't know. I thought that was just the only one.
No, man. Fate Grand Order. This is huge, man. Fate Grand Order is huge. That is a huge series, man. I've heard about that I've never watched it, but I've heard about that from a lot of people, man.
The Holy Grail War story they tell basically had like, it's like one of those games where it gives you more replayability because there's so many endings and you're just wondering what do you have to do to get certain endings. That's what the Fate series is.
Okay. Well,
yeah, so you can see, man,
some heavy hitters so far.
Yeah, they got some big heavy hitters. You know, are they Lisa's? I guess they're her Lisa's agent. I don't know. But yeah, Mashal. Mashal's good, man. I like Mashal. Mashal is a lot of fun, man. Mashal is a fun series. It's like Harry Potter meets One Punch Man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So that's where they are with. Look, I think this is a big story. This is bigger than a lot of people are talking about. New anime distribution wars. Why Aniplex and Kadokawa just built their own movie complex, and what it tells us is who really controls the future of anime cinema. So I think these guys are trying. They see the writing on the wall. They see anime is about to take over, and they have an opportunity to jump in on the ground floor and really make some waves when it comes to anime in movie theaters, not just on the small screen, but on the big screen. And that's basically what this is all about. They're trying to jump ahead of the curve and say, hey, we're going to be here when kids want to go to the movies, they're going to come watch us. They're going to watch our shit. And that's dope. All right. I think this is where this is all headed. Go ahead, Stacey.
That's going to put so much money in their pockets because, right, like both Aniplex and Kadokawa, from what you showed on the list for Aniplex, let's say they do 2 stories for every single series they have there. That's just going to be more money going in their pockets, more money. And then, like, you got High School DxD, Rising of the Shield Hero, just to name 2 of Kadokawa's stuff. Those already have a big following. So if you just basically you could come up with an AI created script for Shield Hero in terms of a movie, and guess what? That will make bank.
Yep. I think Kadokawa is, one of the and Aniplex, obviously, they're 2 of the top anime studios that are making content right now for anime fans. They have a lot of titles. They produce them annually. So this is going to be big. They understand that, hey, if we can get into these theaters and listen, everybody that's growing up right now on anime, you're talking about Gen Z, you're talking about Gen Alpha, everybody that's coming up right now, this is what they're watching. They're watching anime. And if you put them in theaters, they'll go to the theaters to watch the anime. They're not just going to sit at home and watch it on Crunchyroll and Netflix and High Dive and all of these, pirate sites. They will watch them in theaters if you put them in theaters. So I think what we're going to start seeing is we're going to see a big shift of anime going to the movies that we have not seen before. Every once in a while, you see a movie going to theaters. We're going to see a lot of anime in theaters, in my opinion, in the next 2 to 3 years. And it's going to shake up the entire world. Everybody's going to be like, whoa, there's a lot of anime in theaters. And that's what's going to get young audiences into theaters, because they're not going for Marvel and DC and Star Wars. They're not going to watch that. They're going to watch anime. Look what Demon Slayer did.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
I think, like, in regards to animes being in theaters, like, they really need to work on, like, promoting it in theaters, because, like, aside from, like, Demon Slayer and, like, Chainsaw Man, which was, like, already, like, big franchise in and of itself, like, you guys brought up, like, some other, like, big franchises, like, but I don't really see a crowd for those in the theaters, like, so I'm wondering, is it a marketing issue? Is it, like, an accessibility issue? Because, like, this costs money to, like, put this in theaters. Like, that's a slot for, like, a movie that has to be played. So they're really banking on, like, people, like, buying it to make money. Like, for the Uma Musume one, like, they barely had any showtimes, and then, like, now they're starting to add showtimes because, like, they're seeing, like, some interest in it, at least, like, in my local area. So, like,
that's my point, Nate. They didn't have any showtimes, and now they're adding them.
Yeah, so it really, like, like you're saying, D, like, you also, like, the fans have to come out and show the support. Like, we can sit here at home all day, like, shitting on, like, Marvel, DC, Star Wars, and, like, we can love anime all we want, but, like, if we don't support the releases when they go to theaters, like, they're gonna stay at this, like, plateau where, like, they only, like, take big chances, big swings on, like, guaranteed properties, and not, like, put, like, other cool stuff that we want to see. And I don't know where everyone's, like, life situation is. I'm not saying, like, oh, you got to go watch, like, every anime movie, but, like, if you have, like, a show that you're, like, or a series that you're really passionate about, like, and, like, it's going to theaters, like, take the time out to, like, to go support it over, like, like a Marvel or an MC or, like, a DC movie. But yeah, that's, like, and also, like, in terms of promotion, like, I think they just got to do better on that, because, like, there's so many anime that I don't see get promoted, and so, like, I have to go look for it on a different site on the app. Like, at the Uma Musume, like, showings, like, they're playing, like, all the Hollywood stuff, and then, like, the crowd was, like, kind of, like, booing and saying, like, where's the anime? So it's like, I don't know, like, who's in charge of, like, the trailers, but, like, bro, when the Supergirl trailer went on, like, everyone was, like, laughing and stuff. They're like, bro, where's the anime? Like, I was like, these are my people, bro. It's like, you camp for the anime, but, like, Hollywood is still trying to like, hey yo, can you watch our movies? Like I understand it, but like it's like we're here to watch anime. Can we like see some anime trailers? Like we
show us the anime
until like the end.
Yeah, show me the anime. I don't want to see Supergirl. Show me the anime. All right, show me anime trailers. Why are you even putting Supergirl in here? It's ridiculous. But look,
Hollywood
this is what's got their attention. This is what's got their attention, okay? $733 million worldwide will get your attention. It's like, oh, shoot, man. Superman didn't do this. It's not X-Men. A Fantastic Four didn't do this. Nothing Marvel, nothing DC did this last year, but Demon Slayer did it. That's what's got everybody's attention. And now they're like, okay, we might need to tap into what anime is doing because anime is out here beating comic books. I mean, anime is beating comic books at this point.
You're not wrong on that because there's actually been a friend of mine actually is invested in a few movie theaters. He actually listened into some of those shareholder calls. There are actually theaters like Regal Cinema, Cinemark. They are actually interested in getting anime. They're looking for big ones that they know for a fact will bring money in.
Yeah.
But this is my thing though that I wanted to state. Like I think anime could blow up in regards. Like Name was saying that fans need to show up, and I agree they do need to show up. But the thing is, these movie theaters need to start catering more in regards to these anime fans. Like a case in point, like in China or was it Japan, where some of the fans were able to take their pets with them. You know what I'm saying, to go see a movie. In regards
that was
to anime, why don't we let
in China?
Yeah,
China with Zootopia,
so why not
they
let
allowed
the anime fans come in? Yeah, but why not let the anime fans come in, dressed up? Let them come in and cosplay. Let them experience this movie like it was. I'm not saying they don't, but I'm saying make it more accessible and make it more advertisable to let these fans come in and express themselves when it comes to these animes. And I don't feel that they allow that. I think that what these anime productions needs to do, or what they should do, is start doing kind of what Netflix is doing. Create your own theater. Create your own network where you could be able to have these fans come in and be themselves, and you could promote anything you want in that movie theater. And you could be able to expand that and show these other theaters that, hey, look at the money that we're making. Look at the revenue that we're generating. Like, you have to pay attention to these young fans and cater to them, because if you could treat a movie theater kind of like a anime convention in a sense, you know what I'm saying, where anybody could come in, you could, have tables where people are selling merchandise, you could have all these things there, and a movie theater. That would be a great experience for everybody to be able to come in, and it would generate so much for everybody that will participate in it. So, I mean, that's just an idea from me, on the top of my head in regards to that.
Hey, imagine you go to a movie theater and it's almost like a con, right? It's almost like a convention, That would actually be dope, man. It's like an anime convention right there, man.
Yeah.
Bro, the convention, the convention energy when you watch a premiere, and I don't know if you've seen it yet, DA, I recommend if you guys are heading to a convention and they're playing a release, try to catch one of the panel premieres, bro. The energy is so good.
Yeah.
But I agree with Angel, on the theaters part, on these companies' part, they need to put more incentives, for fans to pull up to the theaters, because it's more cost effective to wait till streaming. When I go up until the Pochita popcorn bucket, whenever they did a popcorn bucket, aside from the Demon Slayer and the Pochita one, it was just a generic popcorn bucket with the anime slapped on it. Bro, you're not putting in any effort. Give me a poster. In Japan, I hate bringing this up because it's such a different culture, but whenever they have a movie release, they have all these goodies they're selling at the theater. They have T-shirts, they have acrylic keychains, they have standees, they have little pamphlet books that they're selling to it's like you said, it's not just oh, I pull up to the theater. It's an experience. You're getting all this merch. There's a reason for you to pull up. So they got to start putting the work in if they want the money, because there's another good point. Godzilla -1. That was originally only slated for a 1 week run, and then the grassroots fans, word of mouth, they ran it up. And then it stayed in the movie. It stayed at the theaters for all December. It was a sleeper hit. And it's the fans will pull up to. The fans will show you love and support, but you also have to do some work. These relationships. It's it's 50-50, but with everyone trying to do 110. So you guys gotta lock studios, theaters. You guys gotta lock in, bro.
Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. Sorry. Eating. Got to give to get. Facts.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Jaggin. Absolutely, man. Hey, look. Chimera. Sorry, Chimera. DA, I agree, but it's too late. These new gens struggle to pull up to the theaters. I guarantee that the reason Demon Slayer made that much was because of us millennials that grew up in both eras. Yeah, I mean, it's probably the millennials. But keep in mind that Demon Slayer really didn't get cracking until 2020 with the pandemic. That's probably all Gen Z, Gen Alpha.
Yep.
More Gen Z, more Gen Z
than Gen Alpha, but definitely Gen Z.
Yeah,
that's my kids.
I can see where he's coming from, but maybe this is like anecdotal, but like I saw like a lot of like young people like around my age, like a little older than me, like a little younger than me at the Demon Slayer panel. Not the panel, sorry, the Demon Slayer movie premiere. Same with the Chainsaw Man one. Like there's still like there's like this weird like part of Gen Z where they grew up towards like the tail end of like Blockbuster, you know, all these like, you know, Toys R Us, KB Toys, like they still had like this experience of like, you know, like in person, like physical stuff. And they're also like they were on like the cusp of like the huge like technological advancements. So like I think like those guys are interested in like, you know, the theater going experience. But like I can see like, you know, what your point is. Like a lot of people like they've grown up with like this technology, so like they're more conditioned to like go out. But I also like think the pendulum can like swing both ways. Like, you know, because you have all this like unlimited access to technology, you're like craving like, you know, I want to go out and do something cool with my friends. Like just like you know, give me a reason to put the phone down for like 1 or 2 hours. Facts.
Look, let's keep it going, man. This is a great topic. I can talk about movies all day because just movies, that's what I do. But I want to return it back to anime. And we got to talk about a series that dropped this year, Sentenced to Be a Hero. Now we're getting season 2. I think this was a no-brainer. I mean, it was obvious that we were going to get a season 2. Because it's that damn good, man. If you guys, look, you guys out there in the audience, if you're not watching Sentenced to Be a Hero, you're wrong, all right? Or maybe not wrong, but you're missing out, all right? You're missing out. It is
it's blasphemy.
Excellent series. He said blasphemy.
I mean, it's
blasphemy in my eyes.
We're not, look, Chimera, we're not talking spoilers. We're just talking about season 2 dropping. No spoilers. We're not talking spoilers. But Sentenced to Be a Hero is magnificent. This, in my opinion, is top 5 of the year already. What do you guys? This is really not a shock that we're getting season 2. They have to give us a season 2. So I'm happy to see this. This is just a quick one. Some news. Studio Kai continues animating the sequel. I think the animation is really, really good. I think the storytelling is even better. All right. The story is awesome. So just your quick thoughts on season 2 of Sentenced to Be a Hero getting announced.
The only reason I see this is not just because of the animation and the story, but when you have people like, here's the thing, season 1 is not even over yet, and they've already announced this. Yeah, they know they have a hit. And when you have the characters interacting like this, you already know where it's going. So to me, no brainer, no surprise.
Yep. 100% agree. I know you've been enjoying this, Angel. I think this is one of the better series. Look, for somebody that's just stepping into anime, you probably enjoying the hell out of this, man.
It's a wonderful story. I'm loving each character. I'm liking their backgrounds. I'm liking their trials and tribulations that they went through, each character. So it's something that it's very entertaining, action-packed. Each episode has, you know, a lot of decent action in it. It just keeps you on your toes. It's kind of like, I would say it has that mixture almost of free Ren, you know what I'm saying, with more action.
Yep.
You know, so it's just really entertaining, and I'm loving every episode. I always look forward to looking at my Crunchyroll, you know, app, waiting for that new episode to drop. You know what I mean? And as soon as it drops, I don't care what I'm doing. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to stop what I'm doing. I'm going to watch it, you know, calm myself down over the excitement and then move on. So
Name, you've been checking in, right? Since To Be a Hero. How you feeling about a season 2 getting announced?
Yo, before I give my thoughts on the anime DA, someone in the chat's asking for a list of your recommendations, bro. You gotta lock in on my anime list. The people want to know what you're watching. But going back to the topic of sentence, like, you know, we kind of assumed this was coming because, like, remember when like the first episode came out, and then I think like we covered it that the trademark, like they filed the trademark for like Sentence to Be Hero, and then you just thought like, you know, that's odd. Shouldn't you already have it? So like, I think like by then like something was already cooking. They knew there was gonna be a success, but I am like, you know, echoing like what everyone's saying. I'm really enjoying this one because like, and like, I'm not trying to like diss any other anime, but this is like one of the animes which is like where I'm actually like invested in every character, and like with every episode, I'm concerned with like how everything's gonna turn out, and I'm gonna try to keep it spoiler free, but like I'm really anxious about like these next few episodes because like anything can happen in these like animes. Like
there's so much happening right now.
So far, like they keep introducing characters for me to like get invested in, like, you know, be interested in, and like I'm like, bro, the finale is gonna stress me out because like I want to see like I don't want to be that guy, but like I want to see everyone live, and like. And this
somebody
anime,
ain't gonna
like,
make it. Someone's
gonna go. That's gonna hurt me because like every one of these guys, like you see on this poster, everyone is like so interesting. Like, you know, even if they don't get like all the screen time, like it's always like mainly on Xylo and Terrorita. But dude, everyone you could make it like a spin-off. Like I wouldn't mind if they just started like, you know, spinning off like a show for like every character's origin because they're so interesting. They're so cool. Like, you know, I want to learn more. They give you enough where like, you know, your mind is like going places like even when you're not watching the show. Like, you know, I'm just thinking like, you know, oh shit,
he's blanking on us.
You know, like what is Dada up to? Like, dude. Oh shit.
There's so many. No, with your right name, there's so many. Like,
no, it's like
all of these characters are good. This is like Game of Thrones. Somebody ain't gonna make it. You already know somebody is dead. Somebody's not gonna get through this thing. These are great characters, all of them. Everybody on this screen, you care about them. Somebody not gonna make it. I'm sorry. Somebody not gonna make it, and it's gonna be devastating. And then we gonna really tune in for season 2 because season 2 is gonna explain a whole lot, and we'll probably be introduced to even more characters that will or will not make it. Man, it's nerve-wracking. You want everybody to live, but you already know what's coming up, man. This is a great series.
Like, that's the greatest.
Go ahead, Name.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to say, like, you know, you're hitting the mark. Like, that's the greatest like feeling for a fan to have. Like, it's like it sucks. Like, you know, like Angel was talking about earlier. Like, I'm waiting for the next episode of Free Run. Like the wait, like, you know, like was like. It makes you like, you know, you really want to see it more. Like that's how you can tell like I love this, you know, I'm invested in this. Like I want it now, even though like, you know, you know that's like, you know, a year, like, you know, 2 years off, but like, you know, you like dude, this is one of the shows where it's like, give me that season 2 right now, bro. Like just lock in. Like I don't drop everything you're doing, Studio Kai season 2. Let's go. Full steam ahead.
Yeah, look, Dragon Master, shout out. Check out the website, myanimelist.net. I have a profile on there, and I promise, with Name's help, remind myself to update it because look, man, I got a lot going on, y'all. But this is the thing. I didn't have the My Anime List before until Name and Brandon were like, "Hey, man, why don't you put this together?" And I was like, "Okay, let me do that." Now it's just a matter of reminding myself to get it done. You know, that's what it is. You know, your fake says Anime Planet is better. Why is your fake? Why is Anime Planet better? Why is Anime Planet better? Does anybody have an answer to that? Why is Anime Planet better than My Anime List?
Well, I don't know anything about Anime Planet, but like I know Brandon uses like AniList, which is different. I just like my friend put me on Mal, and that's the one I've been using. Like I know like people like say it's like more corporate or whatever, but like I think because of like what we're doing on this channel, like we want to keep up with like anime news. Like being on Mal is like pretty beneficial for us because like they do some like a lot of like industry related stuff like on now. Like, you know, we talked about like the writing competition a few weeks ago. So like, you know, like we can say all we want, but like, you know, I think like this is like as creatives, like this is like the most like efficient way. But you know, I don't. That's not dissing like any other like anime list. Like, you know, I think like I've seen like AniList, the one that Brandon uses. That site, it's like really cool too. So like just like, you know, just use a site that you guys want to use. But if you guys want to find he's on my list.
Yeah, I mean, this was the first one that I checked out because Name introduced me to it, and I'm like, oh, this works. Okay. Your Fake says it's the user interface. Again, it's personal, right? What works for you may not work for me, but it might work for Name, but it might not work for Angel, but it might work for Stacy. You know, everybody's different. Find one that works for you. Yeah, I think my anime list is dope. But if you like Anime Planet, look, Dragon Master Zero shares that out there. There you go. Go check it out. And then there's a lot of different spots, right? There's a lot of different spots where you can catalog what you're watching. And, you know, you can get your news, you can get your info. I like my anime list. I really do. So, you know, that's the one. That's mine of choice. And I've tried a couple, but that's the one that I think I like the best. All right. Let's move on, man. I want to talk about this. This one was interesting to me. This popped up. Now, this has to do with games. This is where it starts. It starts with gaming. All right. The VGC posted this up on March 4. Female players are an overlooked opportunity for growth in the games industry, a research firm news report says. So that's where this started. A lot of people responded to this, man. It got a lot of views. It got a lot of comments. But this particular person right here, Devin Erickson, he had a take that I absolutely agree with, all right? I want y'all to listen to this take. Okay, and then we're going to get to how this relates to anime, all right? Because this is still about anime, all right? Most business suicides are induced by not understanding the difference between reported preference and revealed preference. If you run, and he says, Testosterone Studios, maker of Angry Muscular Axe Guy Kills Demons in Hell, you might notice after a while that not many women buy your games. Since your stockholders have a profound moral objection to other people having money and not giving it to them, they want you to correct this problem stat. All right. That's basically what we're seeing right now. Okay. A lot of people, it's like, oh, there's no women. You know, women are a big, you know, purchasing, demographic. So we want to make sure that we appeal to the women. Okay. So they're saying Testosterone Studios, which clearly is making a game for guys, say, hey, make it for the women, okay? They want you to make Angry Muscular Axe Guy Kills Demons in Hell 2 to sell to men and women. So you sigh, shrug your shoulders, hire a bunch of female consultants and ask them, what do women like? Feminism, girl bosses, strong female characters effortlessly outdoing men at everything, gay stuff. This is the problem. This is the problem. We see it all over social media, entertainment. We see it all over entertainment. These people are trying to cater to an audience that isn't going to show up. Okay. So he says, so Testosterone Games dutifully makes petite feminist girl boss replaces Angry Muscular Axe Guy, hoping that men will buy it because they bought the first one and girls will buy it because it panders to what they were told girls want. Of course, nobody buys it. The men don't buy it because it's not what they liked in the first one, and women don't buy it because women couldn't care less about games where you fight demons in hell. Yeah, women aren't going to play that game, okay? If instead of asking a bunch of consultants what women like, reported preference, they would have looked at games women actually buy, all right? And they would have seen something different. Fruit Matcher 3000 for the iPhone. The first thing I thought about when I saw this little article right here, I was like, they're playing Candy Crush. All these women that you guys are talking about, they're playing Candy Crush. They're not playing like games for guys. They're playing Candy Crush, okay? He goes on, a point-and-click Alice in Wonderland Studio Ghibli adventure, something Hogwarts. And they would have realized, had they two brain cells to rub together, that you can't please everyone, but some people hate exactly what other people All right. So how does this relate to anime? This was the perfect post for anime. Okay. So he responds to this guy, this dude, Dr. Dad. He responds to Devin's, as a retweet, and he says, this is part of why Japan does this better than us, because they define genres by intended audiences. We got shonen for the young boys. We got shoujo for the young girls. We got seinen for young men. We got josei for the young women, women. And then we got kodomo for child. No one says, let's make Dragon Ball appeal to girls because it's shonen, i.e. for boys. And this is the magic of anime. Anime says, you know what? This is the genre for this particular demographic, and we're going to make stuff for that demographic, and we're not going to try to cross, the streams and bleed one into the other. Nope. Shonen is for boys. Shoujo is for girls. Seinen is for young men. Josei for you women. Kodomo for child, and there you go. It's so fucking easy. Just make the stuff for the people that are showing up. And look, I know Name was going to have a lot to say about this, so I'm going to let Name cook.
Simplistic.
Go ahead.
Seinen.
Sorry, Seinen. I don't know why I say it. I know how to say this, but I always just default. But yeah, Seinen.
It's okay, DA. 4 out of 5 is still a B. But, I really... Yeah, I agree with this because I can bring up an example. So I play this Gundam mobile game, and I watch YouTubers play it because I'm a scrub and sometimes I need the strategy. One of the biggest creators for that game is a female, and she's playing the game. She really likes it, but she's not she knows that it's for an intended audience. It's a strategy game. It's it's pretty much a simulation game. It's really really advanced chess if I had to really really dumb it down. And she's not asking for it. Oh, let's can you turn it into a cozy game? Can you make it a point and click simulator? No, she plays the game as it is. She's just engaging with the community. She's she's playing the game as it is. She's not asking to change the story of Gundam or change the game mechanics to cater to oh, it's too hard. She's actually better than me. So it's you just make the game for whatever intended audience. Gundam it's for everyone, but it's targeted towards young boys. And the game, the simulation game, if you're talking statistically, most of the time, men are more likely to play simulation games like that than girls. So you create the game for whatever specific audience that you make it for. And if it's interesting, if it's good, people will check it out. That's what draws people in. People hear oh, what's this game about? Or what's this movie about? What's this show about? You hear the buzz and you're inclined to check it out. So
damn, Name, you crashing out, man. Is everything good over there? Man, you got to get off of that potato, bro.
They can't handle my hot takes, but no, just to round it out, you make something for everyone. You make something for no one. And all these companies trying to hit every demographic. What was that shit they call it? The 4 quadrants? That's not gonna work, dude. Just make.
Okay, we're gonna have to get Name off of this potato for a minute, man. Name, refresh or something, bro, because you sounding kind of janky. Stacy, I mean, this is what we talk about all the time, bro. We talk about, anime appealing to the audiences that it's intended for. It's this is the reason why Hollywood and I guess some of AAA gaming right now can't figure it out. Because they don't appeal to the audience that's going to show up. They just don't. Anime, they found it. They found the secret sauce. Hey, you got young boys, make something for the young boys. You got young girls, make something for the young girls. You got young men, make something for the young men. There you go. What's so hard about this? Why can't these guys figure this out?
Before I answer that question, I just want to make a little bit of an edit. You used the wrong word. It's not can't. It's won't. Because these people do not want to actually create stuff for the intended audience. They want what they want, and that's the problem. Yeah. Now, as for this, basically, it's a roadmap. As you went down the list, that's a roadmap. Everybody knows that. Now, let's look at why stuff like Street Fighter lasted so long. Why did it last? It's because it catered to the men, it catered to the boys, but there were, yes, the girls and the women who said, let me learn about this. Why? Because they just said, here, let's just put it out there. Those who want it, that's who we're going to cater to. And guess what happened? The same thing that happened in the comic book movies. Girls and women loved it because the guys who they were with were interested in it. They wanted to find new ways to spend time with their boyfriends, their husbands. And they said, ooh, let me get into this. And that's what hooked them. That's basically the bait. You want to try to get the women in? Go for the men. And guess what? Same thing can work in reverse if you do it right. Maybe just a little bit of a roadmap, but who knows?
No, I mean, you're right, man. Like, again, we're learning. It's always been this way. It's like, oh, should we make rom-coms for guys? No, you shouldn't make rom-coms for guys. Should we make military action movies for women? No. Now, are there going to be some women that like military action movies? Yeah. Are there going to be some guys that like guys that like rom-coms? Sure. But you're not making it with guys in mind. You're making it for the target audience. And that's the problem, man. These guys don't understand, like, hey, you got to make movies for the target audience. You got to make TV shows for the target audience. And that's how you get the target audience to show up. And that's what anime does. All right. You got your target audiences right here. You got young boys, young girls, young men, young women, and children. And you make it accordingly. And it all works out. And now, because Hollywood isn't doing this, guess what? The West is flocking to the East because they're getting what they want. All right. Yep. Young kids, young boys, they're watching shonen. They're growing up on shonen. This is their main source of entertainment is shonen anime. And they're watching it and they're loving it. And they're going to the conventions and they're buying all of the merch and they're leaving the West behind. And the same thing for girls, young men, and so on. Go ahead.
Funny thing about that. I actually went to high school with a young girl and I still talk to her. She was a girly girl. And then when she saw a fairy tale, for example, last time I went over her house, I swear, I thought this woman was getting ready for war. She had swords littered on every wall of her house. I'm like, okay, where's the shrine to Urza?
Love that Urza Scarlet, huh?
Exactly.
Urza got her.
Damn, Stacy, I didn't know you had motion like that. All right, my man.
Hey, if I had motion like that, I'd be over her house tonight, not here.
Man, oh,
I was going to say this, though.
Go ahead, Angel.
I was going to say this, though. I mean, back in the 80s, though, I mean, movies, Hollywood used to be like this. They used to cater to specifically in regards to different genres, and they made the movies, the animations for that. And once DEI came in, that's basically what messed everything up. And then plus, a lot of these Hollywood companies started going more to focus groups. You know what I mean? Yeah. And trying to go and get the ideas and the answers from focus groups instead of just trusting their own judgment and trusting the story that they're going to put out there. But they want to make sure that they want to appease to everybody, because once they've seen one film that kind of appeals to everybody, they want to follow that formula. Everybody always wants to follow the formula of what made money. Just like everybody wanted to follow Marvel. Once Marvel did whatever they wanted to do, now you want to do end credit scenes. Now you want to do, you know what I'm saying, trilogies and all these other things. You weren't doing that before. So it's like nobody has any originality. It's, you know, the Clips came out with this song. The Clips came out with this song back in the days. It's called Mr. Me Too. And that's basically what Hollywood is. It's like, you know what? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Me too. I could do that. Yeah. He's doing that. Yeah. Me too. So it's like everybody just wants to copy. Nobody has originality to trust their own ideas or their own work in any way.
Real talk.
No, I really agree with Angel. And like this is like there's a longer point to this that that we're not gonna bring up, but also like I was sending some of these tweets, like people are talking about like fandom culture and like how it's been impacted by the pandemic. Like, they're saying like because we were locked in, like all these like fans like suddenly started like getting invested in like interested in this stuff, like, and they enter these fandoms without like learning the rules, like, and we're bringing up like my like shonen, for example, My Hero. I've had like the unfortunate experience of having to like go through like the archive of our own fanfiction.com, Wattpad, like Tumblr stories of like the shit that they make it's like, bro, you know, and I don't have a problem with it because like, you know, that's like the fan stuff. Like, you know, you have your own corner, but like the problem is like, you know, when you're trying to make it official, like you're trying to push it, like, you know, as something that it's not. Like, you know, we all know that Bakugo and like Deku aren't gay. Like, if you want to write your fan fiction, like, sure, do that. Sure, like, I don't care. Like, you know, I'm sure there are people interested in that. Like, you know, you might get, like, we might gotta call the police on you, but like, you know, I ain't gonna say anything if you keep it in your corner and like you keep shut about it. The problem is like, you know, when you're trying to like enforce like your fan fiction or like, you know, something that the show isn't as like the official thing, which is like, you know, there's kind of a crossover with like, you know, these like companies on the top side trying to push like a ship. And I'm pretty sure like it's not coming to mind, but I've seen examples of that, like, you know, especially in like the CW shows where like, you know, like a relationship not natural, but because like you see like the fans are shipping it, then you're like you think that it's a good move to like officially make it, you know, to make it an official thing. Like Green Arrow, like what was her name, like Felicity, like they saw that ship was like getting a lot of traction, and then they fed into it, they built into it, even though it like, you know, it didn't make sense. Like we all know that Oliver Queen's supposed to be with Dinah Lance, so so like, you know, it's like just going against like the nature of like, you know, your own work, your own show, to like appease an audience that, you know, isn't the majority, that wasn't there for what it was originally. Like that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, they run with these little concepts and ideas instead of locking into the majority of the fan base. Look, man, if you do something that like 10% of your audience really wants, you might be able to get away with that one time. But overall, you need to lean into your audience, to your main, like who's coming here every single time to watch or read or, you know, engage in this. That's what you need to do. And if you're not doing that, you're losing out. I mean, I'm sorry, you're losing, man. All right, look, speaking of losing, we got to talk about a little bit of controversy. All right, we got a controversial topic that's right now happening in anime and in manga specifically as we speak. I'm not sure if you guys have heard about this. If you haven't, lock in. We're about to talk about some sex, and not in a good way, okay? This is on the Japan Times. Publisher to investigate its hiring of 2 manga authors convicted of sex crimes. All right, so this is a absolutely insane story. All right, and this is with Manga One. All right, Manga One basically hired 2 people that had been convicted of sex crimes to do some work, and I think they thought that they were going to be able to keep this under wraps. No. Once people found out about this thing absolutely blew up in their face, and this is bad. All right. This is on the Manga Reporter on X. Currently, there is a scandal going viral about Shoga. I'm struggling with name. Help me out, man. Shogakukan.
I think that was it. Yeah, that's it.
Shogakukan. Manga One editorial hiring an author under a pen name who allegedly sexually assaulted a high school girl. And I'm not going to go into all of that. You can read it right here on the screen. I'm not going to say it out loud. This is disgusting. Yes, this is absolutely disgusting stuff, what this manga author did. All right. So timeline, sexual assaults happened in 2016 when the author, Suichi Yamamoto, was a teacher, and she was a first-year high school student. In 2020, the author was first arrested, and his own series, Adaten Sakusen, suspended by Shogakukan. In 2022, however, he was hired under the pen name Eiichiro Hajime to work as an author on the Jojin Kamen, together with artist Tsuruyoshi Eri. In 2026, February 20, a civil lawsuit was basically filed against him to pay compensation to the victim who suffers from PTSD. And then on February 27, Manga One editorial issued an apology that hiring the author again was a mistake. So they hired this guy and they knew of his background. All right, let me just say that right there. The Mangu Jujin comment is now getting canceled. The author, Tsuruyoshi Eri, issued a statement. She was completely unaware of the author's situation and past events. And then Manga One issued a editorial apology. Here that is. Hold on a second. This is actually, no, it. Hold on. This is here. It is. All right. This is their apology. I'm sorry. This is in Japanese. Let me translate this to English. So this is their apology.
You got this.
Sorry about that, man. It's like trying to juggle, man. Trying to juggle like multiple languages and all of this stuff. But yeah, essentially, this is what's going on right now. And like this article said, it's not one manga author, it's two. Okay, so they did this twice. You guys. All right. This is absolutely wild shit. All right. So second one, Shogakukan and the Manga One editorial department have revealed that Tatsuya Matsuki, the arrested and convicted writer of Act Age, has been working on their series Seiso no Shinrisi under the pen name of Miki Yatsunami. So they hired two sex offenders, all right, to work in their company and work on their projects. This is absolutely bananas. This is wild, and everybody is coming out against it. All right. They dropped another. This is another Shogakukan. All right. Hold on. Let me translate. All right. This is their apology. And the fact that they're saying, okay, we're going to hire some third-party investigators to try to figure out exactly what happened, because we're not sure what happened, but we're going to find out what happened. Like, how do you not know the background of the people that you're hiring? You know, I know they're going under pen names, but yeah. All right, bro, what's your real name? No. All right, that's your pen name. What's your real name? Oh, my real name is this. Okay, thank you. We'll talk to you. And then you start doing some investigating to find out who the hell it is that you're about to hire, because this is going to have ramifications. As you can see. So we got the biggest manga authors that have removed their works from Manga One to support the victim. Kanahito Yamada, who is basically the writer and author of Frieren. Ryu Tamura, which is, the writer of Cosmos. Haru Aso of Zom 100. And Rumiko Takahashi from Inuyasha and Ranma. And then we have others right here, all right? Chibi Review posted up a whole list of people that says, you know what? We're done with Manga One. We are done with Manga One. And they have removed their work from the platform. And as he says, we'll never work with them again.
I can understand that, because if they'd done this only one time, okay, you have a mistake. I'm sorry, as everybody says, if it's twice or more, it's not a mistake. That has to be a pattern. Someone is not actually researching these guys. They're not doing background checks. They're basically trying to take anyone off the street who wants to say they want to be a writer and doing that crap. Like, ugh.
Yeah, they thought they wouldn't. I think they thought they wouldn't get caught. I think that's what it is. They thought nobody would know because they're under a pen name. And we ain't gonna get caught. We good. Let's go ahead and bring them in. And now they are losing some of the biggest writers in history. Somebody just else pointed it out. One from One Punch Man, Outro. All right.
I thought
these are big names. These are big name authors. Go ahead.
I thought just having Frieren, the creator of Frieren, the creator
Kanahito Yamada,
yeah, Kanahito, Rumiko, and Haru mentioned. I thought that was bad enough when they moved, when they basically said they wouldn't do it. But then you got one up there. Oh my God. I'm kind of wondering now, what else among one has basically been taken off? Because this is some big hitters. These are some really big hitters.
These are big time manga artists that are saying, no, we're done, man. Manga One is probably cooked at this point. I don't see how they recover from this. Name, what do you think?
Yeah, like I agree with you guys. Like, how the hell did this slip past them? Because like, are they conducting these interviews over like Zoom calls or something? Like, are these like, is this all like remote work? Because like from what I've seen of like among day in the life of mangaka, they have to meet with people to like the editors like in person to give them the copies. So like unless it's all conducted online, you know, which then it's like, you know, why aren't you conducting online? Like why aren't you like doing this stuff in person? Like you gotta see like, you know, what you're working with. It's like this is like, you know, like Stacey said, you know, once is a mistake, like 2 times or more, it's like, you know, you may be complicit in this. And it really sucks because like, you know, this is now not only a taint on the company, but it's also like, you know, it sucks that these like manga authors and like mangakas feel that, you know, their work is like by extension tainted because like they unknowingly like, you know, put their work on a platform that was like, you know, supporting abusers. So it's just like a shitty situation for everyone. That's not even mentioning the actual fucking person who went through that shit. Like, you know, it's like it's crazy, dude. Like
that's the crazy thing to me, man. It's just like, did you guys not think about the victim here? Did you guys not consider if these people, if it ever comes out, all right, like I think they thought they would never get caught. That's really what it comes down to. But if you ever do get caught, you're done. You're fucking cooked. You are finished in this town. Nobody's going to fuck with you no more. The fact that they didn't have that foresight before hiring these people, I'm blown away, man. I'm absolutely blown away. This is one of the biggest blind spots, like not understanding that if we ever do this, we are absolutely done. This company is over. Manga One is finished. Because once people find out about this, all of these, like you see it right here, all of these people, one is done. Kanehiro Yamada, done. Okay. Yasuo Otagi, all right. Mobile Suit Gundam, done. All right. Rumiko Takahashi, done. Haro Aso, done. Imanasi, done. All of these folks, they are done with you. They're never coming back. And why would you do this to your business over a couple of artists? Like, they're highly replaceable. I'm sorry, man. Some of these artists are like, they're good artists, but it's like, yo, we can get another artist. This guy cooked his own career by doing what he did, you know? And I know I read somewhere that's like, well, we don't want his one indiscretion to end his career. Oh, well. This is a message to all of the other mangakas and artists and anime writers and everything else. Hey, man, if this is what you decide to do, your career is over. Kiss it goodbye. You gotta lay that down to these guys so they know not to ever F around and find out. That's what you got to do. You know, if you don't do that, you know, it is what it is, man. Angel, we ain't heard from you yet, sir. Why don't you weigh in?
I mean, I agree with what you're saying pretty much. They felt like they were not going to get caught, but this just sounds like a Hollywood tactic. This is what Hollywood does. Exactly. You know what I mean? Hollywood would hire somebody, put them under a surname or, you know, in some other department where they're not known or, you know, being able to be seen in some way and then let them cook in that department. So, I mean, to me, this is blasphemy. It's crazy that they would just allow that to be up there, knowing that these people did what they did. And I agree with the artists, the authors that left, like, leave. You know what I mean? You're not going to taint my work. You're not going to get me involved in something that had nothing to do with me. And then you didn't even have the, you know, decency to warn us prior, you know what I mean? To let us know what was going on. So it's like, yeah, I would take my business somewhere else. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And this is just what the issue is. And I'm hoping that the other companies out there are not going to, you know, are not doing the same thing that this company is doing. I just hope that it's not a widespread issue out there in that way, that they're hiring people that have these backgrounds that, you know, are just ridiculous with minors. Like, why would you even do that?
Let me read this piece right here. Okay. So this is on Shonen Jump News, as you can see. You know, basically, we read the first part. The editorial department has requested Matsuki to reveal this information as an act of transparency in light of the recent events surrounding the department and the Yamamoto Soichi case. All right. It says here that Shogugaken claims the Manga One department confirmed Matsuki's sentence and had finalized before starting working with them. So they knew what was going on before they started working with them, plus his remorse for the incident and efforts in preventing any recurrences. Matsuki also claims to have been attending psychological rehabilitation. Well, yeah, go do your rehabilitation, learn from your mistakes, but yeah, you're not going to work for us. We're glad that you're getting help. You absolutely need the help, I'm glad that you're getting that. You are not going to work here, though. Okay, that's how I look at it. You're not working for me, but I'm glad you're getting the help, okay? But yeah, here it says here, in their early discussions, Masuki expressed his desire to keep on writing, but not wanting to evoke memories of the incident to his victims, thus leading to the decision of using a pen name. Yeah, you were basically hiding your identity. It has nothing to do, oh, I don't want to evoke the memories to my victims. You just want to hide behind a pen name so that you can go ahead and continue to work without nobody saying, oh, yeah, who's this dude? Oh, this guy is the same guy that did that. Oh, no, I'm not buying this. I'm not buying this. That's basically what that was about. The psychologist in charge of his case has also determined rehabilitation was sufficient, and that's good. I'm glad rehabilitation was sufficient. However, we need to send a message. F around and find out if this is what you choose to do. Your career is absolutely done. No one will ever work with you. Go work at McDonald's. Go work at 7-Eleven. Go find another job. You are done here. You will never work here again. And no pen name is going to save you. That's how I feel about it. All right. And then look, it says here, keeping going. Matsuki and the department met with illustrator Yaoru Yukihara to explain the details of the situation before they accepted the request of drawing the series. Yukihira, aware of the situation, accepted the proposal. They also want to keep drawing the series after this. You can keep drawing it, but Manga 1, you're cooked. You can draw it all you want to. You're cooked, and nobody's buying it because nobody wants this guy to work in this field.
This guy's gonna have to go independent in order to keep his stuff going. That's the only way. As far like you said, like Manga 1, they're done. They are done. There is no way to get out of this. None.
Cooked. Yeah. Sounds like Kevin Spacey. Yeah, I mean, that's what happens with some of these guys, man. They think, okay, if I just do my mea culpas and I apologize and I say the right things and I say I'm going to get some help, I'll be able to continue my career of being a creative. Nope, you're done. And this, again, needs to be the message to all creatives, all right? Because what these guys do is they take advantage of their position. And it's like, no, you can't take advantage of your position to try to abuse young children. Sorry, you can't do that with young children. These are all people sex offenders of underage girls. I got a daughter. All right. I'm very, very sensitive about that. The answer is no. All right. You're not going to be able to get away with that. I'm sorry. It is what it is. If you don't like it, tough titty. Despite having done all of this in consideration with the victims, they feel the need and obligation of making the situation public and reconsidering whether this approach has been truly considerable. We need to think about this and see if this is the right approach. It was the wrong approach, Manga 1. And they're feeling the heat. And I'm glad for it. I'm absolutely glad for it. They reiterate their apologies for all parties involved. Again, the fact that you tried to hide behind a pen name tells me everything I need to know. All right. Tells me everything I need to know. Name, last thoughts on this situation, guys.
Yeah,
down
it's like
2 seconds.
You put it up like briefly on the screen, and we didn't get to read through it, but all those PR statements they put out, it's baloney. They just did it because they're trying to run damage control. But I really agree with Stacey. This guy, you see, we've been talking about it for the past few weeks. You've seen all these independent publishers and all that. Dude, just do your own thing. If people want to support you, that's their thing. But because the company put them on, that's on them now because you signed off on it. That's your name. He was promoting your brand. He was on your brand. So now that's on you. So you fucked up because you took it on. And I think this guy could be the greatest artist of all time, but there's something that's more important than art, which is humanity and morality. Why do you think they have all these safety precautions for stunt actors now? You can talk about, back in the day, they did all these cool stunts, but it was at the risk of the actors' lives. So now they have these precautions, and because what matters more than creating good art is just is having a good morality. And I think all these companies, there's I understand you're trying to make money, but at the end of the day, you're not making money if you don't have people there to support your business. And I hate to break it to you, but a lot of people in this world have morals. They have standards. So maybe it's time for these companies to start getting those too. I know like all they see is like, you know, the numbers and like the statistics, but like you got to consider that, you know, you got to consider like people like think about these not just from like, you know, an analytical standpoint. They think about it from an emotional standpoint too. Like DA said, like he has a daughter, like, you know, that has an effect on him. And like, you know, this is just a horrible situation that should have never happened. Like you should have never like platformed that guy. So that's all I got to say.
Never. So you get what you get. All right. At this point, hey, look, Manga 1 is over, baby. It's over. All right. You effed around, you found out, and now your business is absolutely cooked. All right. Everybody, thank you very much for hanging out with us. We got one more topic. All right.
DA, before you do, you might want to take a look at the super chat that Alpha Omega just sent.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let's see. Ex-offender registry doesn't exist in Japan, by the way. Well, see.
Now it will.
Yeah. Thanks for the $2.
Yeah, see, look, man, this is why you need these types of things as well, man. So you know who you're working with, who you're dealing with. And look, they knew exactly what they were doing. Okay. So Manga 1, it is what it is, baby. Okay. Next time, well, there won't be a next time because your business is donezo. But maybe the next company will, okay, hey, let's get your background. Let's do a full deep dive into who you are and what you've been involved with, just to make sure everything's on the up and up. That's all you got to do. All right, that's it. Thank you very much, Alpha Omega, for the 2. All right, last one, and then we will wrap things up. Look, I think this is actually, we got two more things that we got to talk about. First one, and this is just kind of a quick question, not meant to spend a lot of time here, but the first volume of the new Jedi Order or Jedi Fallen Order manga adaptation has released today, March 3rd. All right, so a couple of days back. It features some of the story of the game, including the story of the second sister and appearance from the Night Sisters. Okay, so it looks like Star Wars and manga are starting to, kind of, cross over a little bit, maybe get help from one or another. Being where Star Wars is, do you think there's a possibility that manga and anime can possibly save this franchise, introduce it to a new group of folks who won't treat like the fans like shit and destroy the franchise? All right, we see Visions, which is, anime and Star Wars kind of blended together. And it now looks like that we're getting some manga with Star Wars. Is Japan going to be able to save Star Wars? Because I think Star Wars needs saving. I don't think that Lucasfilm and the folks out here in the West know what they're doing. Is it a possibility that maybe it can be saved if it slips over to the East? All right, where George Lucas, he had a lot of influences coming from the East, the samurai, Akira Kurosawa. I mean, there's a lot of influence coming from the East that came over to Star Wars. What do you guys think?
I think there's a possibility of that. It depends on who's writing the story and how it's carried out. If it's written by somebody like Leslie Headland or somebody like that, or even close to her, no, it's going to get cooked. It's going to get cooked. But if it's
right, no, that's why I'm asking, is it a possible anime or manga? Like, is there like a chance this is where Star Wars can find its rebirth? Because look, anime and manga, that's what the young kids are into. And if, somebody over there in Japan decided, hey, give us Star Wars and let's see what we can do with it. Okay. All right. What's his name? What's the name of the Godzilla -1 director? Is it Takashi Yamazaki? He wanted to do a Star Wars movie, and everybody was like, yeah, let him do Star Wars. All right, that guy knows what he's doing. Godzilla -1, he says, it's my favorite thing growing up was Star Wars. So I think that it's smart if Lucasfilm is smart, hey, let's hand some of this off over to Japan and let Japan cook, and let's see what Japan can do. Because look, the people out at Lucasfilm right now, Dave Filoni and all of these clowns over there, they're not going to save Star Wars. They're going to further destroy Star Wars. But maybe, just maybe, manga and anime can ride in on a white horse and save the day. I don't know. I'm just, curious. What do you guys think that's possible? Name? Oh wait, all right. Stacy, then Name, and then Angel.
If I remember correctly, there's someone who's basically going to be watching the money over there at Lucasfilm. If that person is basically telling Japan to go with it, basically go as far as you can with it, yes. But right now, the way things are, it's going to be one hell of an uphill battle.
Name, what do you think, man?
Look, this is like a really like, you know, we've had this conversation in terms of the past, and like, you know, DA, you brought up like Andor, and like, you know, Disney Star Wars, like they have a few gems here. They're like, I really like Fallen Order, not so much Survivor because of like certain choice, but like aside from like those two, like you can nuke the whole like sequel trilogy, like, you know, all this, or like just Disney Star Wars in general, because they've done more than the sequel trilogy, like, but I think like this is like, you know, there's something just so like right about like Star Wars and anime. Like, you know, maybe it's because like George Lucas took like huge inspiration from like Japanese films, like, you know, and like directors like Akira Kurosawa and like Seven Samurai. But like there's something so right about it, because I remember as a kid, I would go to the library and there were like these like Star Wars manga of like the original trilogy, and like that's how I was like, you know, introduced to that. I was reading like the manga of like A New Hope, and Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. It was just so cool, like, you know, seeing it that way. And like this cover of like Cal, like he just looks so badass. And like I got like, you know, other like, you know, I think like all these companies are just starting to dip their toes into anime, because it's not just this one. The few times I've been to like a local comic book shop, I've seen like the adaptation, like a manga adaptation of The Mandalorian. And look, DC's starting to do it too. Like this is a Batman manga like they put out like recently. You know, I collected these. Like this is a pretty good Batman story. It's like it doesn't beat like some of the top ones, but I would say it's better than a lot of the stuff they're putting out. You know, Marvel is doing it too. They got these two like Deadpool like.
Oh damn! Wait!
Like,
Let me see that cover. Deadpool because, like, Samurai. Hey, bring that back up, man.
Oh, that's actually a really good. That is actually a really good storyline, DA.
Yeah. So
I've never read
they were serializing that. And then it's pretty funny. They have like some cool cameos in there, but they also did this Spider-Man one, which sorry, wrong side. But this Spider-Man one's also really cool. It's just like a manga Spider-Man. Like, it's not Peter Parker in this photo. It's like, you know, it's like some Japanese guy, which is like, you know, and they have a really good like in-story reason for why they do it. So it's not just like a lazy like race swap or like, you know, tokenization. Like it's like a really cool like. I would recommend you check this out. Like it got like, you know, canceled because they couldn't sell, but they said like, you know, if they do enough, if it gets good traction, they'll pick it back up. But like we're going back to the original point. Like I think like, you know, what we've been talking about, like, you know, in this stream and like many other streams, and like, you know, what everyone's been saying, like for Gen Z, like manga and anime are where it's at. Like, and if you present it to them in that format, maybe that's like their like gateway to like, you know, open up. Okay, like, you know, let me look at the comics. Let me like check out the movies. Like. You got to do it right, but you also got to
because they're done with Star Wars as it is.
Like, you know, these are yeah, exactly. And like, you know, and for like, you know, although like the Batman and the Spider-Man, like the mangas I have, like they're not like, you know, one-to-one adaptations. Like they're doing their own thing, but they still like respect and honor like the integrity and the sort of like the source material and the characters. Like they don't like shit on Peter Parker in that manga. Like and the Batman one, like they do some like interesting stuff. It's like, you know, it's like. You know, at first I wasn't on board because it's like, you know, I was like, it's like lore breaking. But then like by the end of it, I was like, okay, I see your vision. I see what you're trying to do. Like the spirit, like the identity of like Batman and like all the related characters were there. So I like, you know, I think like we talked about earlier, there's something about like these Japanese creators, like that they just honor and like respect the source material, or like they understand it in a way that these Western writers who just like want to do their own thing, who just like think that, oh, just like, you know, making like Superman kill is like just the coolest thing ever. It's like, no, like, you know, characters have like, you know, we love these characters for a reason. Like there's traits that are like true for a character, and the audience can tell, like, you know, when the character is like straying from when the audience can tell when a character or story is straying from like, you know, what the original intention of the source material was. So
they're like, not using it because they like the characters, and they're not using the characters to push ideology or push an agenda. They like the characters because of what they meant to the story. Unlike Leslie Headland or Patty Jenkins or somebody like that, that just wants to use it to, oh, I like all the Star Wars because I want to use Star Wars to make my, ideological slop. Like, that's the difference. Okay.
Yeah.
These guys actually respect the storytelling,
that's also,
which is what you want.
That's also the other thing. Like, if you're gonna do it, like, just make it Elseworlds. Like, stop trying to push it as like the main one. Like, you brought Leslie Headland. Like, she's saying that Yoda is now complicit in crimes. Like, that's not Yoda. Like, if you want to tell like a Elseworlds story, like, okay, go ahead. Like, but because you're tying it to the main canon, that's what a lot of people have a problem with.
Hey, look, man, I like the concept of anime and manga, jumping into the Star Wars realm, because I love Star Wars. I love anime. So I'm like, okay, marry those two together. I think the first season of Visions is really, really good. I really enjoyed the first season. Second season, not so much, but the first season of Visions is dope. Okay. So I have zero problem with that. The problem is, will they do it right? Will they do it right? Or could they possibly, like I said, the question that I had is, could they save it? Could they save Star Wars from itself? Because Star Wars absolutely needs to be saved from itself. Angel, you got any thoughts?
I think the only way that honestly it could be saved if they create a whole new character, create a whole new lore in regards to getting younger kids excited. Yeah, because right now, what are you doing? You're just like you've been saying in previous videos, DA, y'all giving us what we like to the younger generation, which they're not going to adapt and feel in that way. So you need to give them something that is theirs, something that they feel that they can relate to. So they have to create a whole new character, a whole new story. That's the only way I feel that you could get more excitement through manga and anime in regards to Star Wars, because you have to do something new. And they have to make it like anime where you're not focused on one character for so long. Change up the characters, change up the stories, every time. Like you guys saying, most of these characters don't live forever. They die. They go on. So change it up. Keep the lore going of Star Wars where you're introducing new characters, new stories, and just new concepts for people to be able to adapt to, the younger generation, because that's what you need right now. You need the younger kids, from the age of 10 up right now to be into this. So at least in the future, they're going to start telling their children, hey, read this, look at this, check this out. You need to start that whole process all over again right now. Because that's how it was for us back in the 70s.
Yeah, you got to introduce new fans to the franchise. Otherwise, the franchise will die. All right. Back in the day, everybody was like a Buck Rogers fan. Okay. Like back in the day, how many Buck Rogers fans do you know of now? None. Why? Because they let the franchise die because they couldn't get new young kids introduced to it or interested in it. All right. It's kind of like what we was talking about with Kamen Rider. All right. Like, are the young kids going to be into Kamen Rider? Are they going to be into Super Sentai? You got to introduce young people into it. And if you don't, guess what? The franchise will die. Nobody will watch it. And there it goes. And we just saw Super Sentai ended after 50 years in the game? 50 years in the game, and it's dead. And nobody, and they canceled it out because, again, you got to keep the blood fresh. You got to keep young people interested in it. And the same thing is happening with Star Trek. All right. They're trying to change Star Trek. Well, let's introduce Starfleet Academy and let's make it about the young people. And you already know where that's going. I'm not even going to go down that road. I'm not going to go down. I promise you I'm not going down that road. But you see what's happening with Star Trek because they don't understand the franchise. They're trying to introduce it to young people, but they don't understand the franchise enough to do that. And the same thing's going to happen to Star Wars, Marvel, DC, on and on and on. If you cannot keep this franchise fresh for young audiences, it will die. Everybody at the convention is going to be some 50, 60-year-old man. All right. That's not rocking with it because the kids, they're watching anime. That's just what it is. All right. Last topic. I promised you guys. And I said we would get back to this. I think this is very interesting. Netflix, of course, has partnered with MAPPA. All right. To start dropping anime on Netflix. Oh, Stacy's already laughing. What you laughing about, Stacy? What's so funny?
I'm laughing at what Crunt 9789 said in the chat just now. Star Trek Academy and did inspire me to buy the Next Generation box set.
That is actually a good one, right? But yeah, Netflix's MAPPA deal promises global reach, but risks letting anime fade too fast. So essentially what they're talking about is this. Anime enjoys, actually, let me just kind of read the first few sentences of this article, okay? Netflix's new partnership with MAPPA has the potential to reshape how high-profile anime is financed, released, and marketed globally, but it also reopens a familiar debate about whether Netflix's release strategy helps shows thrive or quietly sinks them. On paper, a deal looks like a win. Netflix has positioned the partnership as a long-term collaboration, offering MAPPA global day-and-date exclusivity for future projects. That kind of rollout directly addresses one of anime's biggest modern problems, uneven access. Simultaneous global releases reduce spoilers, limit piracy incentives, and allow international audiences to participate in the same conversation at the same time. All right, and then they show a little picture, from Chainsaw Man. For MAPPA, the upside goes beyond distribution. A deeper relationship with Netflix could mean steadier funding, earlier involvement in development, and fewer last-minute production crunches. In an industry built around tight schedules and investor-heavy production committees, that stability matters. It also gives MAPPA a platform capable of pushing its work to a mainstream audience that traditional anime pipelines often struggle to reach. But the concern many fans raise is not about access, it's about longevity. All right. Netflix still favors full season drops. We were just talking about that with One Piece live action. It's all dropping at the same time. All right. One day it releases, there it is. Full season drops for many of its anime titles, a strategy that often kills momentum just as quickly as it creates it. A show can trend for a weekend, dominate social media for a few days, and then vanish from discourse entirely once the binge window closes. Weekly releases, by contrast, keep shows alive for months, allowing conversation, theory building, and word of mouth to compound over time. Anime has historically thrived on that slow burn. Community discussion, episode-by-episode reactions, the seasonal anticipation are a part of how shows grow beyond their premieres. When Netflix anime drops all at once, it risks becoming dead in the water by week 2, even if the quality is high. Fans finish it, move on, and the broader cultural footprint fades faster than it would on a weekly cadence. All right, so that's the problem. And I kind of agree with it. Like, why wouldn't you drop things week to week to week, especially like they did that with Sakamoto Days, didn't they? Sakamoto Days was a week to week release. So I would think, like, if you were to do that on Netflix, just drop it week to week. You don't have to drop it all at once. I think dropping an anime all at once absolutely risks it just thriving for a week and then just disappearing into the ether, because there's a lot of things to watch. There's a lot of movies. There's a lot of TV shows. There's all kinds of stuff that you can watch to anticipate. And if there's no anticipation, oh shit, when's the next weekend coming out? Or what's going to happen next week? I can't wait to watch next week. And you're building it up and you're talking about it and you're watching videos and you're theorizing and you're on Reddit and you're on X and you're like, theorizing about it. If you don't have that, your anime probably dies. Everybody talks about, oh man, this was awesome. Okay, on to the next. And it just gets lost in the wash. So what are y'all thoughts on this?
I think, like, back to our earlier conversation earlier, MAPPA is going to have to tell Netflix, hey, we need to do it week to week, because that's how you're really going to make it. Yeah, you can have do seasonal drops. That's probably the best thing they can do. Have MAPPA come up with, like, say, hey, we got episodes, we got like 12 animes, each with like their first episodes. Go ahead, drop all those. Now you got a lot of stuff out there. But if they're gonna drop like a whole season for some shows, those have to be shows that they're gonna have to use to say, okay, these are gonna be basically, I guess you could say, the filler shows, while the big name shows gotta have to do week to week stuff. Because if MAPPA goes for this whole season all at once, I think the deal is dead in the water.
I agree. Name, what's your thoughts on this? His name's still name.
Angel, you want to speak first? I got a lot of thoughts on this. We're gonna
we about to go. Angel,
he's
get
gonna
yours
cook
out the way, and then everybody grab your popcorn because name's gonna be a minute.
Name is gonna cook.
I mean, my opinion in regards to this, I think it's kind of a mistake. Because this is just me as far as a casual viewer, you know. I watch anime. I invest more in animes watching it week to week compared to having a whole season drop. And the reason why is because now if you have the whole season there, it doesn't give me that excitement or that anticipation or rush to go watch it because I know it's going to be there. The library is there, so I could just watch it whenever I feel like watching it, and there's no rush. And with that being said, it might be a good anime, and I might not be able to know about this maybe 6 months from now or a year from now with all the other content that's coming out on a daily basis. So I think they have to learn how to keep themselves relevant, especially if you want the product to succeed. And the product is not going to succeed if you're just going to throw it on the shelf and just say, hey, buy it. You know what I mean? Like, why am I going to buy this? Why do I need to buy it? Why is this product good? You know, like they're not thinking about that when it comes to the customers right now. Netflix, that's what I was going to say earlier. Like they changed their whole format. Netflix used to be week to week in regards to their shows. Like, and that's what made Daredevil popular when it first came out. You know, Luke Cage, Wednesday, all of these different shows, when they were coming out week to week, especially Wednesday, when it was coming out week to week, you had men and women consistently talking about the show because they were excited about the next episode and they were invested. So they need to learn that fans are more invested when you're keeping them anticipating. Take it back to the 80s and the 90s when we were just watching an episode a week. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Make them wait. Like if you wait, it's going to make people talk. Right now, we have too much things on our fingertips and it's too accessible. And I think that's what's wrong with society now. Like, yes, accessibility can be good, but it's just too much. It's too much content. And we need to channel it where people are just, you know, used to anime or used to other content without feeling like there's just other choices. You know, like I may sound weird in regards to that, but it just bothers me that we do not have it. Like back in the days, it was what, like 4 or 5 TV channels to watch. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Then cable came around. When cable came around, they only added really 6 or 7 other channels, like what, MTV, VH1. Those were the formats of people when we were watching when we were growing up. But it's like now you have too much stuff. You have way too much stuff right there. And it's just it's like an overload on my brain because I don't know where to go at sometimes. I don't know what to watch or what to do. And I feel like I need that guidance of a week to week. So that's all I really have to say in regards to that.
Well said. All right, Name. The floor is yours.
Bro, Angel is hitting like every point that I wanted to talk about. Like, you know, we have an accessibility issue. Like we just have like everything at our fingertips now. Like, you know, just to go a little like off topic, like, you know, Amazon, we can just buy whatever we want. Like back in the day, if I wanted like a toy, I'd have to like go to the store to get it. And like, that was part of like the fun, the thrill of like, you know, just walking into the store, like, you know, will I find it? Will I not? You know, and like, it's the same thing with these shows. Like you have it all at your fingertips. You can binge it like all at once. I've seen like some like great 10 out of 10 shows, and it sucks that they don't stick in. They're not like, you know, they don't stick in my mind as much because I binge them all at once. And that's because like I missed them when they initially aired. But just watching like these shows, like, you know, week after week, even if they're not like the best, it stays in your mind because you have a week to process it. You watch it, you process it, you know, you have something to look forward to. We were talking about like, you know, Super Sentai and Kamen Rider, like, you know, those things, like, you know, they were trending like every week, you know, like it gives them like something people to talk about. Like, you know, the My Hero, like why was that so big? Because like they've dropped it week to week. You let the anticipation, the hype build up. Like, you know, of course, like there's manga, like people who can come in and spoil, or like, you know, there are people who know what happened. But like for anime only, it's like this is their first time experiencing it. Like this is like, oh dude, oh my god, that fight, you know, that was a crazy fight. Who what's gonna happen next? Who's gonna live next? Like you know. And then on the other hand, you have like, you know, I don't want to bring the Hollywood conversation to it, but DA, you had the unfortunate, like, you know, DA Angel, you guys had the unfortunate trauma of like watching Wonder Man and Ironheart. at least they dropped that all like at once. So like you memory hold
Over
it,
with.
Yeah. But if it was like, I see like, all these like YouTubers, and if you had to do it, DA, like reviewing Starfleet Academy every week, like it's like it's a bad, that's like, it's on your mind. Yeah. So, but like, anime, like, like the article talks about, like you guys, we've been talking about, it thrives on this weekly conversation. Like the reason why we have all this, like, so many things to talk about, and why the streams have been getting longer, is because the episodes are getting more interesting week after week. If they just dropped it all at once, we'd just be like, oh bro, that was a phenomenal season. I can't wait for like season 2 in like 2 years. And then like we don't talk about it anymore. Like, cause like we've covered everything we need to in like one session. Whereas like, because they're giving us pieces and pieces, like we have like things to talk about, if like, that's why DA does like, oh, this week's focus on Sentence Be Hero. This week's focus on Fate Strange Fate, because that episode is interesting. This week's focus on Jack of All Trades, because they've done something interesting. Because of the weekly release, like we've all had to like, every week is something different, something special. Whereas if it was all in 1 week, DA'd be like, all right, Fate Strange Fate, great season. See you next season, whatever that is. So like, just like,
yeah, I mean, imagine how boring that is, man. Like, we saw, again, not to talk about other stuff, but we saw like how Night of the Seven Kingdoms was dropping every week. And every week, everybody's talking about the new episode. They're talking about what just happened. They're relating it to what happened on the previous week's episode. And then they're talking about what's coming up next week. Oh, what's going to happen? What do you think? You have all of this conversation and anticipation for the next one. And if you drop it all at once, it's just all over and done with within one weekend. And everybody talks about it, like we talked about One Piece live action. It was great. All right. I binge watched One Piece live action, the first season, in like maybe like, I don't know, 16 hours or whatever. Like I started watching it in the morning, and then I took a break, did some other stuff, and then watched it, towards the end to wrap it up. And all 8 episodes done in a day, And sure, did I go back and revisit some of those? Absolutely. But a lot of people will just watch it and move on. And so that's the problem you have. It's like you're not building the anticipation week to week to week to week. And that's the brilliance of, otherwise you might as well just do a movie. You know what I'm saying? You might as well just make it a movie and just do it that way. But when you drop a series and every week it's, okay, we got first episode, second episode, third episode, you have cliffhangers, you have characters being introduced. Oh, what does this character mean? All of that type of thing. That's how you build hype. That's how you build energy. And if you're not doing that, guess what? Your series, even if it's good, it'll just die. That's why if it's a bad series, they drop it all at once. Okay, because they just want to get rid of it. So I think MAPPA doing this situation right here, where they're like, okay, let's just drop everything, or partnering with Netflix. And like I said before, a lot of this is because of piracy. A lot of this has to do with piracy, because it's like, oh, okay, if we drop it all at once, what do the pirates have? They don't really have anything. They have nothing to work with, so there you go. But I think that dropping it all at once does have that kind of outside risk of, hey, the anime is here and then it's gone. And even if it was a good series, there's other good series to watch and you'll just forget about it, So I think that's a major problem, and I think that's a big blind spot. Netflix is going to have to figure that one out. That's how I feel about it. But guys, look. Oh wait, go ahead, Stacey. Go ahead, bro.
No, it's like what Tony Elias said in the chat. Binge model works for certain type of shows, but generally speaking, weekly release models is the best thing for long-term financial and critical success of a show and the health of its fandom.
Yeah, we need cooler talk. That's the thing. Exactly. We don't have no more cooler talk, and that's the thing that kills society nowadays. Like, people don't go to each other anymore and talk about these shows that much anymore. We just all walk by each other and say, "Hey, did you see this? Yeah, it was good. Oh, okay." And then that's the end of the conversation. Like, nobody really talks about week to week anymore. And then in regards to piracy, I think the week to week works better, because now they're not going to get that episode as quickly as anything. They have to wait till the episode drops, and then they could pirate it. And by that time, everybody else already watched it. So It's like, it's a better format. When you drop everything all at once, it's just, okay, we could drop this on an internet that one day. Everybody could pirate it. Everybody could do everything. Like, you're killing your product. You're killing your financial stability and future financial, wealth in regards to that. So, my opinion. I know it's about 3 hours, so I just wanted to cut it on that.
Yeah, I was just about to say, man, we are right up. We are past 3 hours now. I told you guys, man, this is what happens, man. We just start talking, and next thing you know, we had 3 hours. Look, I just want to leave it with this, man. My anime list, we're all a part of this, man. So if you guys want to friend us up, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of share all of our profiles right here. I'm sure you guys don't mind. There's Angel, the casual reviewer, Casual 43's profile. You guys can go over there and friend request them. Look, I'm trying to build a anime community with all of us, so you guys are a part of it, obviously, out there in the chat. Hey, man, we're just fans. Okay, we're just fans. We're a community. We're doing what we do. And so I'm just building this out. So there go Angel, the casual reviewer. Get over there and hang out with him. This is Dark Synergist 24. I'm assuming this is Stacy.
That's me.
Where's your profile picture, bro?
I'm still trying to find a good one. I set this up after I watched Ari Ferretti from Commonplace, the World's Strongest, and I was like, I couldn't come up with a name, but then I was like, oh, I kind of radiate with Hajime, because I'm like, I'm a kind guy, but then when you cross me, I'm like, oh, now I need to hurt somebody, and I was like, wow, Dark Synergist. There we go.
There goes. So Dark Synergist 24. You guys got the deets. Go ahead and send them a friend request if you so desire. This is name random stuff 247. I think names is probably the most filled out. Maybe not. Well, let me see. Yeah, name got the most. So there goes name.
Filled out. That is a pause, bro. That is a pause.
Geez, man, y'all catch me up every goddamn time, man. Oh man, you're no longer cooking.
Oh
sir.
God.
Yeah. So and then here's mine, the DA. So listen, man. I'm looking forward to speaking and hanging out, doing more anime content, man. I love this stuff, man. This is my favorite part of the week. All right, I do all of this Hollywood stuff, and then I get to Friday, and I'm like, oh my God, I finally get to talk about shit that I like instead of dropping, like just dissing everything, man. I finally get to talk about some good things, all right? I'm having a great time, even though we talked about a lot of sexual assault and all kind of shit on this particular episode, but still. I'm glad that I'm able to talk about some things that I absolutely enjoy talking about: anime, manga, and this community. Everybody, I appreciate y'all. Hit the like button. Make sure that you come and friend all of us up, man. I'm looking forward to getting more requests. Fellas, that'll do it. Anybody got it?
Can I say
name?
Can I say two things regarding the anime? I'm sorry. I'm gonna take when you add us, could you,
okay,
could you please
we used to it by now. Name never let us get up out of here. We be like, man, name. I'm tired. I'm about to go to bed. Wait. One more thing, guys. One more thing.
I'm gonna keep track of that
just
name.
Like for me personally, if you guys are gonna add me on my anime list, could you please put who you are in the DA's chat, so I know that I'm not just adding a random. Because for me personally, I try to keep my little circle closed, for it's just friends, family. So I don't know how you guys feel about it, but if you guys are gonna add me, I would love to talk to you guys. But could you guys please say oh, what's up, name? This is so and so from the DA's chat.
Yeah, same here, then, man. Put your name in there. And, same thing. Yeah. Not just random dude.
Yeah. The second thing, if we get enough people on there, there's a community tab. We could potentially, if we have enough people, and if enough people are interested, we could form a little DA's community group where we can just talk about anime beyond the stream. So if that's something you guys want to engage in, we may need a little more people for it. But if there's interest, maybe that's something we start. But that's all I gotta say. Sorry.
I'm trying to build, man. I'm trying to build. That's what we're doing over here. We are building. Okay. And hey, name. If you had your own channel, you could say anything you wanted.
We've been trying to tell you, name. We've been trying.
Look, Name got to get off of that potato. He got a potato for a computer, man. He got to get off of that thing, man, before he starts talking about anything.
Bro,
look,
like,
everybody,
you see this camera is better this week because like my mom bought me like an actual like streaming setup, like, and I'm like slowly getting set up. Like we need to replace the potato, but I got a better camera. I'm gonna get the mic set up, so you know we're making moves out here. So
we're making progress. We making progress. All right, guys. Thank you very much for hanging out with us tonight. It's been a blast. All right, 3 hours. Look, we did back-to-back 3-hour streams. I have a feeling that all of these streams are going to be this long, man, because we just got a lot to talk about when it comes to anime for the week. We'll be back on Sunday, so come hang out with us then. I'm sending you guys over to Smash JT. All right, he's doing some gaming right now, so get over there. Say what's up to Smash JT for me. Give him my regards. Everybody have a great week. I'll see y'all on Sunday at the DA's office for those of you who are going to be there. The rest of you guys, I'll see y'all next week. All right, peace and love, and take care.